Okay, let's see, what can we do here? We need to go here. Oh, no, we don't need to go there. Sorry. Guess I left my phone. So, well, maybe I can do it like this. Let's see here. Yeah, I can do it this way. No, I can't. Well, shoot. Oh well. No hat today. No hat today. It's not... It needed to be cleaned, and I forgot to put it in the dryer. So I am hatless today. Which kind of reveals the fact that I've got this one lone white hair growing right up in the middle of my hairline. I mean, it's usually I only have white on the sides, but now I got a white one growing right there. That's a little disconcerting, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. So now, you know, if it wasn't for the gray in the beard, I'd look kind of like the White Wang. I don't know how long I'm going to let it get, though. I don't know. This Texas weather, man. I mean, this will help in the wintertime, but right now, ugh. And plus, because I refuse to get, like, you know, vain enough about it to where I get, like, styling gel or hairspray for men or any of that crap. It's like, if I don't dry it when I get out of the shower, then it curls up. If I do dry it, then it frizzes out like this. So I'm darned if I do, and I'm darned if I don't. I haven't made up my mind which one I'm more willing to put up with. So, hi Ben. We'll get started here in just a minute. I've just realized that I left my phone out there, so I'm not able to post in Twitter that I am live. Yeah, I didn't bring it in here. Oh well. Oh well. The original voice actor for Harley Quinn passed away. Yeah, Bob Barker passed away today, too. The original host of The Price is Right. Don't forget to spay and neuter your pets. Yeah, he was 99 years old. I can't imagine living to be 99. Would be nice, but I don't foresee that in my future. I really don't. We're going to get started here in just a minute. I just ate a minute ago. Sorry about that. So, you know, fair warning. There might be some outbursts of magic powers here later on in the show. Because of the recent enjoyment of consumables. Yes. Normally, I'd like for there at least to be 10 people in here before I got started, but you know, we'll do what we do. We'll do what we do. All right, well, it is Saturday, 6 o'clock, August 26th, 2023, and this is the 7thCast. As always, I am your venerable host, your friendly neighborhood 7th. 8th is in his room doing 8th things, having gotten home from work. And I am sitting here with my lone white hair in the front and gray hair on the side, white hair. I don't have gray, I have white. I'm going to end up looking like 7th the White in a few years. But, I mean, you can see that, all this white coming in on my beard. Been there for a while now, actually. But, as you may or may not know, I launched a new series on my channel this week. Hasn't exactly gotten a tremendous amount of views, but considering the way YouTube treats me these days, I was expecting that. I figured if this show was going to get any kind of audience at all, it was going to be by word of mouth or by one of the more popular guys from that era finding it and kind of shouting it out. That or one of the old forum communities from back in the day finds out about it. But otherwise, I'm not expecting it to be a tremendously successful show as far as views. I'm making it mainly for y'all more than anything else. And just because I want it to be the de facto source of information for that particular era, whether anybody wants that information or not. Because let's be real, we're talking about events from up to 14 years ago. 15 for some of it. So, in case none of you have watched it yet, the name of the show is Trey for Life, the history of the Trey Brotherhood and the YouTube console wars. And it just kind of, it's not about me, it's about everyone that was involved. So it starts with El Presidor and it moves up through. I have not decided at this point whether or not I'm going to go all the way through right up until the point where I, ended the whole Trey Brotherhood thing and just started doing reviews, or if I'm going to stop at the end of the El Presidor era and pick up with a season 2 where I'm handling, the Indub Nation and all that stuff. I haven't decided if I'm going to do it all in one big super season or if I'm going to split it up. I haven't made up my mind yet. Because show me your red son. Yep. The thing of it is, again, we're talking about something that happened 14 years ago. A lot of the people that were involved, they didn't evolve their content or move on to something else. They just dropped out of YouTube altogether. And a lot of them, when they did that, they took all of their content with them. And so there have been some things where I have definitely had difficulty, how can I put this, finding any, what was it El Presidor used to say? 100% factual evidence. I have yet to find 100% factual evidence of some of the stuff that happened because the video is gone. It's just gone. I'll give you one example. I mean, how many of you guys were actually watching 14 years ago when all this happened? How many of you were actually watching when the whole Trey Brotherhood thing was going on? I'm guessing by the lack of replies in the chat, not many of you. Well, there was a lot of guys involved in this. 7th was in the NWO faction of YouTube. Yes, I was, and that's going to be covered in the show. But there was a lot of people involved in this. You got to, for one thing, El Presidor said if you owned a PS3, you were automatically a Trey member, which, the vast bulk of the Trey Brotherhood was made up of comment trolls, aka keyboard warriors, guys that never got in front of a camera themselves. I would say at its peak, as far as people actually putting the Trey Brotherhood logo in their YouTube channel description and proclaiming themselves a member of the Brotherhood, I would say that it peaked out at maybe 5,000 people. As far as people that were actually participating in all of that, but never actually put the logo in their channel description, judging by the fact that some of us were getting, tens of thousands of views on some of our vids, I'd say it was much higher than that. But as far as actively making videos. There were several hundred, but there was only maybe 20 of us that were actually getting big because of it. And so that's what my show is going to focus on, or is that group of individuals. And some of them, there's just not hardly anything of their content still around. Case in point, there was a guy who his channel was called Real GTA 4. He was a Hispanic gentleman, and his catchphrase, because a lot of us had a catchphrase back then, the truth setting you free was "What's upper?" And El Presidor had several. I had "Show me your red son" and various other things. His was "Suck my dick is long." that was his catchphrase, and he used it quite a bit. And for a while there, he was extremely active. But then someone dared him to show his manhood on camera, and he had no problem doing that. And that got him terminated off of YouTube. And he didn't try to come back with a different channel or anything. He was just done at that point. I have only been able to find a tiny little bit of him. And that's a little 1.5 second clip of him going, "Suck my dick is long." And then a piece of him in a PSN chat back when, before there was Skype, before there were the current modes of having live video chat. The Trey Brotherhood members would chat via the PSN chat function, and they would capture that with a capture device like a Hauppauge or whatnot. And I have a chat that went down that had him in it, and a couple of guys who I don't even know who they are, and WCL Champloo or whatever, Champloo. Everybody just called him Champloo, and Humpmaster Flex. And those are the only 2 clips of Real GTA 4 that I have. I have lots of footage of El Presidor. I have footage of Hellhound 30X. I have footage of FL Dumars 04, Solid Rev, some of Humpmaster Flex, not a tremendous amount because a lot of his stuff is gone too. The Truth Setting You Free, General MLD, of course, Infinite Retro, the Water Buffalo, if you remember him, Digital Smoke, Magneto 39. I've got just a ton of guys. I've got footage that I've spent the last couple of months digging for and finding it and saving it. I've got people that are helping me, that are sending me footage. For any of you that was around at that time, P-Bone 34. I found P-Bone 34. He's still on YouTube, but he goes by a different channel name now, and he still had some of his stuff archived. Not the one that I was wanting. I was wanting the video where he made fun of Toke 64, but he didn't have that one anymore. But he did send me what he had. The Rated D, for you guys that remember the Rated D. He was the skinny, white, kind of nerdy kid that was always kind of kissing Pyro 2000X's ass. He had a whole ton of stuff. He sent me a bunch of stuff. I've got hundreds of hours of videos downloaded for this thing. So, this is not going to be some little 3-episode miniseries, okay? This is going to be a significant amount of work. And, I'm doing it despite knowing that it's not going to lead to, a resurgence of my channel or a crap ton of views or anything like that. I'm doing it just because I think that it's a piece of YouTube gaming community history that deserves to be remembered, and I would imagine that I'm the only one out of the guys that are still left that have the interest in doing it and the capability to do it. So I'm doing it for posterity, because I sure as heck ain't doing it for the views. In the meantime, I'm still saving up for Retropalooza, which is in like 2 weeks. 2 weeks or so. So there's only going to be like maybe 2 more 7th casts before that happens besides this one. And when we last checked out, where were we at? Let me see. Where's my notepad? Open. Hey, I didn't mean to do that. Don't do that. Crazy OBS software. Let's see here. Let's see. Where did we leave off last week? We had... We're at $108. So we're $192 away from the goal. And we've only got, at best, 3 7th casts before the... Let me see. We got one... Yeah. No. We've got 2 more. This one and 2 more. So this one, September 2nd and September 9th. And then I'm headed to Arlington. So we've got tonight and 2 more to make $192. I don't think it's going to happen, but I do appreciate what has been donated so far. For those of you who do like to donate, I hope the fact that I'm giving you a brand new documentary series that you're not having to pay to watch counts for something. Especially since I'm the one that's footing the bill to get this thing made. It's taking up quite a bit of my free time to get this thing done, and I have no idea when it's going to be finished, because I haven't created a full roadmap of the show. I'm doing it episode by episode, and then building upon what I did before. Now, the first episode, it was just a kind of setting the stage, so to speak, covering some of the history of the internet and trolling and the console wars leading up to El Presidor's first video. So, like, notable events that happened up to that point. And, this... I'm going to let you guys... because of the fact that there was so much of that whole console war that was a shoot, to borrow wrestling terms. Someone mentioned NWO. There was so much of it that was a shoot, but there was also so much of it that was a work. I'm kind of just going to let the audience decide, how much of what I'm saying is 100% factual and how much of it I'm exaggerating with it a little bit. Now, obviously, there's going to be footage from these videos, so you're going to know, yes, this person really said that because here's the video of them saying it. But what I mean is, I'm going to let you decide, did he really mean that? Was this whole argument really an actual argument, or was it all a work for everyone's entertainment, etc., etc.? I'm letting you guys decide on some of that stuff, because that just makes it more fun, and because that was the way it was actually done back in the day. I'm not saying the debates were fake. The debates were always real. But a lot of us were friends behind the curtain. And so we would have conversations with each other in between videos, discussing, what we would and would not allow the other to say about them, and that kind of thing, establishing rules, and just being friends behind the scenes. So we'd be laughing and cutting up behind the scenes, and then we get in front of the camera and try to outdo each other for real. So it really was kind of a pro wrestling show in a lot of ways. It borrowed from that quite a bit, and I don't know if it was I seriously doubt it was intentional or planned on El Presidor's part, but the way that it grew organically, there are things that are almost reminiscent of Anonymous, which is why I brought them up, because in February of 2008, Anonymous announced themselves to the world and had their video about Scientology that came out. And then in June of 2008, El Presidor goes live with his first video and quickly establishes a lot of parallels, because whether intentional or not, the Trey Brotherhood ended up kind of copying the format of how to establish multimedia branding for a trolling group. You know, establishing the identity, establishing the topic, establishing the modus operandi, having a logo, having a name to go along with that. Branding is very similar. They had a logo, we had a logo. They had catchphrases, we had catchphrases. They had specific methods of attack, so did we. It was very similar. It's just that instead of, you know, taking down big corporations and doing, you know, clownish stuff like the Pools Closed thing, we were going after individuals on YouTube with videos. So, you know, either way, it was trolling for fun, but it is what it is. So I've talked about that quite a bit. I intend to talk more about it throughout the evening, but let me catch up with comments now, because there's been quite a few here. Let's see here. July and August are really dry months for game. I want to play that new EA game, the one that's like a first-person shooter, but it's Magic. I want to play that game, but I don't have the money because I'm saving for Retropalooza. So I won't end up picking that back. I won't end up picking that up until after Retropalooza is over. Sorry, I'm really thirsty right now. Oh, I am parched. Let's see. Hi, Nick Neal. 7th was, yeah. I just missed it. I was 12 at the time. Yeah, you were a little bit young to be watching us, Ace of Horns. Very much so. Bull Man, I remember. Cool. PS3 over 360. You're darn right. Funny that Prez became an Xbot in his later years. He was never either one. That's the thing you have to understand. El Presidor is not a gamer. El Presidor is a troll who's not all there up here. And I'm not saying that to be funny or to be mean. It's true. He's special. And he just really likes to mess with people, both over the internet and in real life. The only type of games he really enjoys playing are first-person shooters. He really only enjoys playing the multiplayer of it. And even then, he's not really that dedicated to it unless he's making money or it's giving him attention. And so, you know, he had bought a PS3 because his 360 had died. And he bought Resistance Fall of Man, and he was trying to find out some information about Resistance Fall of Man. He was searching it on YouTube, and he found people arguing back and forth about PS3 and 360. And he's like, man, this is a prime opportunity to really piss off some nerds and possibly make myself famous. E-famous. And that's why he did this whole thing. And, you know, he didn't come into it with the idea of the Trey Brotherhood. That came as other PS3 fanboys and trolls like myself kind of answered the call and saw the attention that he was getting. And that's when he came up with the idea of the Brotherhood several videos in. And, you know, one of the other guys who was following him was a fan of wrestling and felt that what we were doing was similar to the NWO, and that's where the whole Trey for Life thing came from. Because they did NWO for Life. So, yeah. I can't even stream on YouTube with an Xbox One. I don't know about Series X. I know Solid Rev used to use his Xbox One to stream on YouTube. He doesn't do that anymore. He uses a PC. I'm old enough to remember you did a DBTS on the PS3 exclusive Haze. Yes, I did. But I didn't do it the year it launched. I did it later. Prove what, Bill Bones? You said prove it. Prove what? Everybody, gamer or not, knows El Presidor is the Gunga Ginga guy. Yeah, that didn't come till years after he had gotten out of the whole Trey Brotherhood thing. Which, the reason he got out of the Trey Brotherhood, which you're going to find out several episodes from now when I get to that saga. Because, I'm going to do the next video is basically setting up how the Trey Brotherhood was formed and how the Xbox Republic was formed. Then after that, I'm going to do a video that basically does little bios of all the main players, so you know who everyone is. And then after that, I'm going to start doing each episode is a specific saga, kind of like how the people that are obsessed with Chris Chan do. You have this saga and that saga. That's how this is going to be. And so there will be, the El Presidor versus Samuel the Geek saga, El Presidor versus Reston saga, and so on and so forth. And eventually you're going to get to the Trey Civil War saga. And that's where that's going to be covered. And it was basically that FL Dumars let slip that him and Solid Rev had bought Modern Warfare 2 on 360 instead of PS3 because all of their friends bought the game on 360 and they wanted to play with their friends. Well, there, like I said in the first video, there's fanboys and there's trolls. And then there's also trolls that have a lot of gaming knowledge, like me. Well, the ones that were actual fanboys got extremely pissed at Rev and Dumars, and it caused a split. And El Presidor stayed on for a little while longer, a few months after that, and then he messaged me one day, and he's like, I'm tired of dealing with these nerds on both sides. I don't want to fool with this anymore. It's not fun anymore. He's like, I'm just going to give the Brotherhood to you, and you can do whatever you want with it. I'm going to go make money on Machinima playing Call of Duty. And I'm like, nah, don't do that. You created this thing. It ain't going to be the same without you doing it. And he was like, nope, I made up my mind. And before I could get any other kind of protest from him, the very next day, he had posted a video, 7th is the new president new leader of the Trey Brotherhood. And he did the video, which he deleted it like a week later. He deleted it a week later, and since then has pretended that it never happened because he's always talking about, I could bring back the Brotherhood anytime I want to. I could do the Quint Brotherhood. He deleted it after having it up for a week, but there was enough people that saw it that knows that it happened, so they know it's true. But he did one of those videos where he's standing in front of his little fake cardboard podium like he's doing a State of the Union address, and he seceded to me, and then that was it. It was only a couple of minutes long. But here's the real reason he did it. The real reason he did it was to troll the Truth Setting You Free. Because back when that happened, that split over Rev and Dumars buying that game, one of the ones who was against Rev and Dumars and took it seriously was the Truth Setting You Free. And so people that were fans of the Truth Setting You Free started saying that Truth ought to be the new leader of the Trey Brotherhood, that El Presidor should just give it to him. And so it started seeming like Truth Setting You Free was trying to start his own group, which of course wouldn't have been the same because it wouldn't have been a troll group. It would have been a fully fanboy video making group. And so he basically named me the new leader to piss in the eye of the Truth Setting You Free. And so that's why when I wouldn't turn on Rev and Dumars, Truth got upset with me. And so that's when you had the whole, I'm going to debate 7th, and I decided I was going to troll him on it. And I just sat there. I've spoke up maybe 2 or 3 times during the whole thing, and the rest of the time I let him just ramble and ramble while still child eighth is bouncing around back and forth in the background. So, he really feels like he destroyed me in this debate, which wasn't a debate. It was just me letting him ramble and make himself look bad. And so he captured all of that, captured footage of my son playing in the background, and he uploaded it to his channel. And so I waited for him to do that because I knew that's what he was going to do. And then I posted a response to him, and I was like, I kind of invented this concept as far as the YouTube gaming community went. I called it a troll trap, and that's where you want somebody to react a specific way, so you do something fake that is going to cause them to give you that reaction, and the minute you film that, you also film a second part saying, here's the date, here's the time, I made this video knowing that you are going to do this. And you save that part, you post the first part. So then the other person, they go and they reply to it doing exactly what you wanted them to do, and then you post the hidden part revealing that you just made them dance on strings like a puppet. It's called a troll trap, or that's what I called it. Well, he posts his copy of the chat with my son bouncing around the background, and I spring the trap. And I post a video called The Last Nail in the Coffin of Hate. And I explained to him the response you just gave and this whole thing was a ruse, because I wanted you to realize that this whole thing has been for fun. It was never meant to be taken seriously, and you're taking it seriously like you're an actual warrior on the battleground for Sony. And you need to just back off and see it for what it is. And I did all of this so that you would learn that. Because right now on your channel, Truth, you have footage of my son on your channel that I did not give you express permission to put on there. And it's not transformative because you just uploaded it uncut on your channel. I'm not going to flag you, Truth, but I want you to spend the rest of your time on YouTube knowing that at any time I saw fit, I could kill your whole channel for that video being on there. And that was it. The same day, he takes it down. He takes down the videos that had to do with the whole Trey Civil War thing. Takes it all down. And then a while later, he and I had a one-on-one conversation over PSN chat. We hashed it all out. We became friends. We're still friends to this day. We don't talk as much as we used to, but we're still friends. But he got out of it altogether and went away and decided that he was going to turn his channel into a politics channel. Well, that just killed his channel. And so then he came back and restarted it in gaming as the Truth Be Told show, and he never reached the numbers that he did previously after that, unfortunately. Most likely more due to the algorithm than because of anyone's lack of interest, because his videos were good. He had very good editing skills. It's what he did for a living. But that just gives you an idea of where the show's going. All of that's going to be covered. And, some of it is going to be dramaed up to make it more fun to watch. But all of it is going to be backed up by video footage, except for the one or two guys that I just haven't been able to find footage for. One of the ones that I don't have footage for is Noxious BLD, an Xbox guy who did a little cartoon called X and Bot. I've got like one little 5-second clip of X and Bot. Black Bond says that he has a full X and Bot episode stored, and that he was going to send it to me, but he has not sent it to me. And I keep messaging him on Twitter, when are you going to send me this video? Because I'm getting close to the point where I need it. So for any of y'all that follow Black Bond, go post on his Twitter that he needs to send that video to 7th. Thank you. Now, let me get back to catching up with viewers here. I really like how Presidor raged at golf games. Yeah, that's way after all of this, too. We're talking about a series of events that took place between 2008 and 2013. El Presidor, he falls out of it in early 2010. So he's only in it 2 years. And then the rest of it is me and the handful of guys that were still left behind. So, which I'm not saying that I was ever as good as El Presidor as far as like being funny or entertaining. I wasn't. That being said, he never posted a Trey Brotherhood video that got 1.2 million views like I did. But I was never as entertaining as him. I will give him that much. Nor would I have come up with the idea of the Trey Brotherhood. That was all him. I wouldn't have come up with that idea. So credit where credit is due. Let me see. Highlights out. PS3 chat was the worst. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest quality, but you know, we worked with what we had at the time. Because a lot of us didn't have the software or the hardware to do this kind of thing now. Not back then. Not us guys anyway. The episode titles could be endless. The industry, I'm flagging, I'm snitching. Yeah, well, I have to be careful with what I call them so that they don't offend the YouTube gods. You know what I'm saying? I have to be careful with that. And I'm also, unfortunately, going to have to be editing out a lot of profanity, too. Do you think Starfield is a carbon copy of No Man's Sky? No, I think it's going to be Fallout in space with a bunch of elements of No Man's Sky in it. Yo, 7th, finally able to join live again. Greetings from Europe. It's past 1 a.m. here. Hi, Carol. What do you think of the new format of Game Chasers sitting and talk? Well, it's not a new format for Game Chasers. It's just another thing they're doing. Because people have been asking them to do a podcast forever. And so this is their attempt to do that. They're still going to be doing regular episodes. By the way, you should do Top 5 Friday with your Top 5 Game Chaser episodes. You know, I've tried doing the list thing like that. You know, I did several top 7s. Nobody watched them. And nobody here in the chat when I would post one would ask me about that video or comment on it. So it wasn't a popular thing, I suppose. 7th, can I ask a religious question? I only bring it up because we discussed religion briefly. It depends on the question, Ultra Steel. Hey, 7th, do you or 8th ever play Cyberpunk 20? No, I haven't played it since I beat it. Apparently, the new update dramatically improves the police AI. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Because I'm curious to play the DLCs, but you know, I'm not looking to buy it right now because again, Retropalooza. I think I missed a donation. Hold on a second. Yeah, Carol. $15. Cheers to you and 8th. Please make some vlog on Retropalooza for fans in Europe that can't attend. I will certainly do that. I do intend on filming there. I don't know that I'll be able to stream because all I'll have is my phone, and you know how that goes. But I will definitely film footage. So just so you guys know, I'm not forgetting about you guys, but on Saturday, September 16th, there won't be a 7thCast. I'll do 7thCast the following Monday to cover everything that went on, okay? But thank you, Carol, for the $15. Let me... where'd my... Come on, man. Why'd you do me that way? Let me just document that since my little... And it moved me again. My computer acting weird today. All right, let's see here. This week has sucked. Terry Funk, Bray Wyatt, Bob Barker. Toke64 in the house. Hey, Tokes. I don't know if you were here when I mentioned it, but I got in touch with P-Bone. He didn't have the video where he was making fun of you. Do you remember where he dressed up old and he had a cane and all that? He didn't have that video, but he had some others that I was able to grab. Hey, check it out, Tokes. I have the Tokes cousin video. The full video. I have it. I have it. You're going to be on the show, Tokes. You're going to be on the show. People are going to get to relive your glory. Where you're going to stomp a mud hole in my chest for 20 days. They're going to get to relive the glory, man. Let's see here. Hey, Farb. Please accept contribution as thanks for all your videos. Incentive to make some vlog. Thank you, sir. Or ma'am. I don't know if Carol is a male or female name in Europe. So apologies. Not trying to assume your gender. By the way, you're saying that you can't come to Retropalooza. Are you close enough to Norway where you could go to Retro Spill Musen and wherever? Because I hear that's a big one. I mean, Billy and Jay seem to really be impressed with it. I think it's where in Oslo. Sorry to hear. Dang it, people make light of getting a PS5. Those are difficult to obtain. Hello, Juggernauts. I'm editing my books, just stopping by. Hi, Chris. 7th, what was the name of the Console Wars guy before El Presidor? I think you're thinking of Chad Warden, Tokes. Chad Warden, which was not his real name. And he only made 4 videos, and he got really creeped out by how much attention he was getting, and he dropped off of YouTube. You remember him? Yo, this is Chad Warden. Got the PS triple. He wasn't Trey Brotherhood, but he was like the big PS3 troll before El Presidor came along. Man, I'm thirsty. Interested in the new Assassin's Creed? Not especially. Thoughts on the death of Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt? Well, Terry was up in his 70s and was living in an old folks' home. I'm surprised with all the damage he did to himself that he lived as long as he did. Bray Wyatt, undiagnosed heart condition, then he catches COVID. I mean, that's why it's important, guys. Even if you feel all right, it's important that when you go for your regular checkup, you ask them to check your heart health, Have them do an EKG. Have them do a 3D scan, X-ray scan of your heart to see if they spot any problems. Because you could be having a problem and not even know it. That's what happened to John Ritter, the comedian, the one from Three's Company, and 8 Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter. He had a heart defect that he had lived with all his life and didn't know it, and it killed him because he wasn't getting his heart checked out regularly. I've done that. I've gone through the stress test and sat in the thing that did the 3D scan and all of that stuff. I mean, it was a number of years ago. I need to have it done again, but that's what took my dad out. He had undiagnosed heart disease. Had he just gone to the doctor, they could have put him on medication that would have regulated him, and who knows, he might still be alive today. But he didn't. Yes, Bob Barker is dead. He died today. He was 99. It's a male name like Carl. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Sorry, don't be offended. Carol with a C is a female name over here, so I just wanted to make sure. I should have known better. We haven't had a regular female member on this show in a couple of years. She was the only one, and her name was Rain, and she stopped watching a couple of years ago. Potentially Retro Spill messing in Norway nearby. Yeah. Yep, Chad Warden. Yep. He, like I said, he was never a Brotherhood member. He was just a PS3 troll before El Presidor came along. And he only made 4 videos and then got spooked. I am still thirsty. Thankfully, I brought 2 bottles of water in here. Oh, man. I must be dehydrated as hell. I know I don't look it. Yeah, look at all that. I'm not exactly looking dehydrated, but I must be if I'm this thirsty. Let's see here. John Ritter died years ago, Chris. Seventh, let's say that you were traveling and you want to play PS5 in your van. What would you buy to be able to power up the PS5 and the TV? I don't know, man. I've never lived in like an RV or a van. I've never actually gone on a trip in one either. I mean, now if you had like an RV, it's going to have electrical plug-ins, and most of them usually have some sort of a generator, or when you go to an RV park, you can plug into their electricity while you're there. So it just kind of depends on what you're working with. If you're talking about just driving around in a van, that can be kind of risky, because if you get the voltages wrong, you can short out the PS5. You can short out the electrical system in your car, your alternator. So really, if you're driving around in a car or van, and probably you'd want something more akin to a portable, like a handheld console, like the Steam Deck. Seventh, I decided I'll ask the religious question to you in person if we ever meet at a Retropalooza. Due to the sensitive nature of modern times, I don't want to risk unintentionally offending someone. You could also send it to me in a PM on Twitter, Ultra Steel. Yeah, rain. Exactly. Seventh, you need Powerade for those electrolytes. You made me think of Idiocracy, where they killed all their crops. You know, Brondo or whatever it's called. It's got electrolytes. I meant the same way. Okay. Try those Pedialytes for adults. They work for me. You a legend for that Xbox One video back in the day. Yeah, it still gets views. It still gets views. It gets like something like 1,000 views a month. I don't make any money off of it anymore, but I still get about 1,000 views a month off that video. Something like that. I still get comments on it too. People still leave me comments on that video. It's like 1.26 million at this point, I think. Oh, good Lord. But Bray Wyatt apparently made it clear after the passing of Brody Lee he wasn't going back to the Wyatt family gimmick because he saw it as being disrespectful to his friend. Seventh, your thoughts on the Steam Deck. Is it worth it? I heard the battery life is trash. I think that depends on the model you buy, Tokes. I know a lot of people that have one and they're very happy with it. Oh, $5 from a Living Legend. What's good, Seventh? Have you played Armored Core 6 yet? Loving it so far. I'm getting 90s, early 2000s vibes back when gaming was in its prime. I don't have it. Eighth bought it for PC, and he's currently playing it right now. But I don't have it. Eventually, I'll buy the PS5 version for my collection, but Eighth is playing it on PC. Thank you for the $5. Let me mark that down here. Let me mark that down. There we go. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Have you ever thought about renting out a movie theater and doing a live 7thCast there? I think that would be cool, a 7thCast with a live crowd. Well, you know, if I ever got popular enough where when I went to Retropalooza, instead of being just a guy that's been in a Game Chasers episode that's just walking around buying stuff, that I would be considered a guest, you know, where I would have a panel at the show, that's probably what I would do for the panel, would be to do a live 7thCast. But I'm not popular enough for that. I don't have... I mean, there are people that have panels on there that have less subs than I do, but they're more known in the retro community than I am. Literally, the only reason I'm known in the retro community is because of that episode of the Game Chasers, and maybe now because I had the little cameo in the movie. But if Jay decided to give me a panel in 2 weeks, there wouldn't be anybody in it. because nobody would know me, and they wouldn't know what the 7thCast was. They wouldn't know what the Trey Brotherhood was. They wouldn't know any of that. So, I would have to be a lot more popular to be a guest at Retropalooza. I don't believe that I've earned that. I'm sure that they would probably do it as a favor to me if I wanted to do it. But again, no one's going to show up to a 7th panel because they only know me for that one episode of Game Chasers. Winter Marine, haven't seen you in forever. Hey, glad to have you back. Any updates on Polymega? And what's that handheld you had that's $150? I'm looking for a retro box. I have the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, Chris. Let me see here. I'll show you what it looks like again. Base unit costs about $150, but it doesn't come with any ROMs on it. You have to put those on there yourself. It looks like this. It's got triggers. As you can see, actual triggers. I need to clean the screen. You can get it in multiple different colors. I went with a transparent purple, just because I'd never had a transparent purple handheld aside from one Game Boy Color. So you can also get it in an NES style, so it looks like an NES or a Super NES. You can get multiple different colors. They have a transparent blue, multiple different colors you can get it in. As far as the Polymega, they put out a notice in July that their manufacturing issues were over with, and that they had put in a big order. It was enough to get everyone who had pre-ordered one their unit and the whatever modules they ordered, and that everyone would be getting their orders before the end of the year, and that's the last thing that they said. I remember you back in the day with General MLD seeking truth in El Presidor. Yep. That's what my new series is about, Winter. If you go to my channel, the newest video on there is called Trey for Life, and it's the beginning of a documentary about that time period. So give it a watch. Hello, is Rage 2 better than Rage? I'm not a big fan of either one of them, to be honest with you. 7th, you should get a custom-made Trey Brotherhood controller. Put it up for sale. It'll sell like hot. I don't think it will, Tokes. Judging by the fact that I put that video out and only 400 people have watched it, I would say that most folks in the community nowadays don't even remember that era of the console wars. Like, there's a lot of people that are fans of El Presidor, and all they know him for is the crazy guy with a bunch of cats in his house and being the Gunga Ginga guy. Or they might be fans of him from when he did his Call of Duty live streams. Hardly anyone... There was even... there's a channel out there called dank.net that did a documentary about El Presidor. They left all of the console war stuff out. They weren't even aware that he'd done it. Favorite Dragon Quest game? Probably either 7 or 11. 8 was okay. 8 was okay, but 8 dragged a little bit. The one on PS2. Do you think Nintendo will ever release a Switch Pro? No, because they're going to go straight to their next system. It's going to be the Switch 2 or whatever they end up deciding to call it. Are you looking forward to Lies of P? No, because it's a Souls-like. That's not my genre. That's 8th genre. That'll be a game 8th plays, not me. Remember that clever trick you pulled on Truth when you had your kid run? See, I just mentioned that earlier in the video, Winter. And it wasn't seeking truth. It was the truth setting you free. A.K.A. the Truth Be Told show. But I actually told that story a little bit before you showed up in here. How is 8th? 8th's doing all right. He's over it. You know, he was sick for 3 or 4 days, and then he was over it like a cold. Yo, baby, fire up resistance. Yeah. Yep, with his fake cameraman. I even have the fake video that El Presidor made that was trying to prove he did have a cameraman, where he positioned the camera at a spot where the cameraman would be standing if he existed, and he's berating him and insulting him and stuff. And it was supposed to be showing that, you know, he mistreats his cameraman. I have that video. I have a ton of stuff, man. Let me see. I can get it to open. Let me look here. Let's see. I've got General MLD. I've got Wipeout videos. For those of you who remember Wipeout, I have Hooge, a.k.a. the Water Buffalo. I've got Black Baron. I've got Solid Rev. I've got FL Dumars. I have General G. I have P-Bone 34. I have Infinite Retro. I have Digital Smoke. I've got Magneto 39. Hellhound 30X. Zephyrnix. Reston, which Reston was actually before my time. He was a guy that El Presidor got into it with before I came along. I've got Tokes, of course. I've got Blackbuster Critic, Black Bond, Shokio, and a little bit of Treasy 504. Not a whole lot, a little bit. Who else have I got in here? I've got Truth Now 37, Fury Doughboy. I've just got a bunch of the guys, man. A bunch of them. The only thing is, I haven't been able to find anything of Nova Phoenix. He was a 360 guy. He eventually changed his name to Novaverse or something like that. All of his stuff is gone. I have just a little 10-second clip of X and Bot, you know, Noxious BLD. I need Black Bond to send me that video. And I have I've only got a little bit of Humpmaster. Not much, just a little bit of Humpmaster. And I have just a tiniest little bit of Real GTA 4. 8-Bit Joker, a.k.a. Master Gamacho or whatever. El Camacho or whatever. El Baracho. El Baracho. Master Baracho, a.k.a. 8-Bit Joker. I don't have any videos of 8-Bit Joker, Winter Marine. All I have are people responding to 8-Bit Joker. But he will get a mention because he was involved in that whole Reston mess. Yeah, I have General G footage. Not as much as I'd like, but I do have footage of him. I haven't read 8-Bit Eric's book, Carol. I've been saving up for the trip, so I haven't had the money to spend on anything like that. Will Nintendo be the last company to produce physical games? Very well could be. It's kind of looking that way. El Presidor with his signature clown laugh, yeah. The guy with the mask Console Truth. Yes, I have Console Truth videos. I remember Zephyrnix. Yep. General G was the homie. Yep. Could you imagine live streams back in the day? Oh, that would have been something. Humpmaster Flex. Yes, I have. I don't have as much Humpmaster Flex as I would like to. 7th, did you do commentary on your Yeah, I'm the one narrating it, Tokes. The first episode is on there if you want to go watch it. Episode 1 posted this past Monday. How many of you have watched the first episode of Trey for Life so far? How many of you even knew that it went live? It's on there right now. Go watch it. It's only got 400 views. 7th, do you remember when I trolled the Trey Brotherhood with me putting my beanie and shades on with the... Yeah, I have those videos, Tokes. I have those videos. Because that was when you called Prez El Pussy Whore. I have those videos. I don't have all of them. I don't have the one that had the heavyset guy You posted some videos where it was you and a bunch of your friends sitting in there, and one of them was this heavyset guy, and he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna F you in the ass. Yeah, we're gonna F you in the ass." I don't have that one, but I have ones of you by yourself, and then I have the infamous one where you and your cousin came after me. I have those. See you later, Chris. Favorite David Bowie song? I never have been big into David Bowie. Sorry about that. See you 7th. I'll hook you up with a like and a share. Thanks again for Retroid recommendations. Say up, Dave. Yeah, I'll see you on Twitter, Chris. I'll see you on Twitter. But, yeah, I have tons and tons of footage. I don't have everything that I would have liked to have, but I do have tons of... I have the... How many of you remember this? I have the solid Rev video where Rev did impersonations of various members of the community. So he does an impression of Humpmaster. He does an impression of Tokes. He does an impression of Digital Smoke. I have that video. And what's funny about it is when he does his impression of Humpmaster Flex, he like... I can't swear this is what it is, but it's what it looks like. It looks like he took a pair of his wife's pantyhose leggings, like these red and white leggings, and stretched them over his face with the legs hanging off the sides like they're, Humpmaster's little ponytails or whatever. I don't know what that was, but that's what it looked like. It was either a pair of his wife's leggings or it was a shirt, long sleeve shirt. And he's wearing that over his face doing an impression of Humpmaster Flex. I have that video. I have a ton of the stuff, man. It's funny stuff. Funny stuff. I mean, I won't show it, but I can play some of it if I can unmute my speakers. Weird. Let me see if I can... see if I can play that video and you'll hear it through the microphone. Let me find it. Let me find it. Where is it? Is this it? Let me skip to where he does Humpmaster. Yeah, here it is. Here we go.
What up, Gaylords? What up, bitches? Hey, yo, I'm a pony. The maxi pads about to Trey, but who's watching bleed? Hey, yo, don't be minding my ginger skin, you know? I'm human just like everybody else, people. 360 Gaylords. 360 Gaylords.
I have the video, and y'all are going to see it. Oh. Rev used to be really funny, man. Rev and Dumars used to do skits, and I don't have all of the skits, but I do have a couple of them. All right, Nicholas, see you later. Thoughts on Disco Elysium? Never played it. Do you watch Colin's LSM show? I don't know what that is, Living Legend. There's no mailbox icon on your page, 7th. Well, there should be. People DM me all the time. People DM me all the time. I don't have... I mean, you have to follow me, but if you follow me, you should be able to see my mailbox. I don't have it hidden or anything. I'll DM you, or I'll PM you later when I have my phone, and then you can reply to it, okay? I miss the days when Greg and Colin were working for IGN. Oh, Greg. Okay. How the hell is Chris Chan not in prison? You got me. I've never watched Last Stand Media. You've got me, man. I don't know. How he got out, I have no idea. That is a complete mystery. It's a complete mystery. I don't know. How does one do that to their mother, and they're out their elderly, demented mother, and they're out walking the streets? I don't understand it at all. Oh, by the way. Yes, I know. There's another bottle of water down. So I got one bottle of water left and 2 hours of the show left. I've drank a full glass of tea and a bottle of water, and I got one bottle of water left. It's looking rough, folks. It's looking rough. Well, at least I'm staying hydrated. At least I'm staying hydrated. I've said this before, but, some people say, 7th, why don't you have a bigger audience for your show? Because some of the guys that came after me, I know a lot of you guys know who Porter Rock is. And I got no beef with Porter Rock. I like Porter Rock. We get along just fine. We used to be on Titanfall Princess's podcast together back in the day. But, he gets several thousand views on his live streams when he does them, and I get hundreds. Well, that's because he's been consistent for the last several years, and one, I quit doing the console war stuff, and two, I haven't been consistently putting out videos. I've had multiple month-long breaks where I'm not doing anything. He hasn't done that. He's been consistent, and so he has a more concrete audience because he's kept up with the content, which makes him more favorable to the algorithm and whatnot. And that's why 25 to 30 people show up to watch live, and then I get anywhere from 400 to 700 views for the after show. That's why I don't have a membership plan. I don't have an active Patreon because I don't do enough content to where I think I've earned that. If I was consistently doing content every week, then yeah, maybe I would do it. But even then, I don't know what I would give away for perks. I mean, what would I have to do for you guys watching to send me $1 a month as a membership? Because I wouldn't be one of those guys that would demand, $5, $15. No, $1 a month would be the minimum. What would you guys want as a perk for being a member? If I ever got big enough to where I thought anyone would actually want to do that. Because I've sat and thought about it for the last, ever since YouTube started the whole member thing, and I haven't been able to think of anything. So, what would you want? What did Chris Chan do? He had relations with his elderly mother, who has dementia. Your documentary on the console wars was a nice surprise. I can't wait for part 2. Final editing on part 2 will be tomorrow, and then it'll go live on Monday evening. I need more gaming hats and t-shirts. Well, you could try a website, Tokes, called Ripped Apparel, RIPT, Ripped Apparel. They sell a lot of gaming and movie shirts. 7th, what is the funniest movie you've ever seen? I got one that you probably can't top. Funniest. Well, that's kind of subjective. You know, I thought that the original Hangover movie was hilarious, but then again, I also like some of the really old 80s comedies like Better Off Dead, Revenge of the Nerds, that kind of thing. Thoughts on Deathloop? I played it for a few minutes and didn't like it. Eighth wasn't a big fan of it either. Eighth beat it. I think he might have platted it, but he wasn't a big fan on it. Same thing with Returnal. I haven't played much of Returnal. That was mostly an Eighth thing. Eighth is playing Armored Core 6 on his PC this time around. Come Christmas time, I'll probably buy it for him for PS5 just to have it in the collection. I haven't been buying games, guys, because I'm saving up for Retropalooza. The only games that are coming into the house right now are games that he buys with his own money. I haven't been buying nothing. That's why I don't have that new EA game that just came out that's like a first-person shooter, but you use magic. I don't have it. I haven't gotten Diablo 4. I haven't gotten Baldur's Gate 3. Literally the only game that I bought all summer long besides Final Fantasy 16 was the newest Trails game. I can't remember the name of it now. But it's the new Trails game. That's the last thing that I got. I haven't been buying games. Oh, forgot to remute my speakers. Ace of Horns, $7. Thank you, sir. Love your stuff. You'll always have a viewer with me. I appreciate that, Ace. I appreciate that. That's one thing I can say is that, you know, I have lost some along the way, like Rain. Rain doesn't watch me anymore. But most of you guys that are in here right now are guys that have been watching me for years. And I appreciate that. That's why I ask questions like that. Like, if I was going to have a membership thing, what would I need to give you guys to make it worth $1 a month? You know, because I'm not going to hide videos behind a paywall. You know, maybe doing a special monthly video that only members see, sure. But I'm not going to be one of those guys where you have to pay a membership fee just to watch. No. So what kind of things would you guys want if I was going to do that? For like $1 a month. I mean, I have one idea, but I don't know if it's something that any of y'all would be interested in. I'll tell you that in a minute. Let me catch up real quick. Hi, Master Chief. I know 7th is not into Souls games. Can't wait for Lords of the Fallen. 8 wants that too. I want that new EA game, but supposedly it's really short. That's probably one that I'm not going to be getting till closer to Christmas. 7th, funniest movie to me is Kung Pao. I saw that at the theater, man. That's old news. Dude who did Ace Ventura. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I saw that at the theater. I was the only one in there. Yeah. Started Tears of the Kingdom. I feel like this is the first 3D Zelda game that captures the same stuff as the 2D. We have it, but I haven't played it. 2D, two retro style games that you might have heard of that I recommend after Retropalooza: WrestleQuest and Sea of Stars. Heard of them both. They're on my wish list, but I haven't bought them because I'm not buying anything right now. I started watching you in 2009-10, Stevie Boy XRP. You were Ballsack Gaming? Oh, Lord. I remember I had to block you a couple of times because you got a little bit too spicy in the chat. You got a little bit too spicy in the chat. And you were going to get me in trouble with the YouTube gods, so I had to make you sit down for a little while. Welcome back, Ballsack. Wow. See, I have a long memory, son. I don't remember everybody's name. There's some guys that are in the Trey Brotherhood. I can picture their face, but for the life of me, I can't remember what their channel name was. Like the Xbox guy that I mentioned last week who had he had a physical condition. He was mentally impaired, and he had this big bulbous giant head. I can't remember his screen name. To save my life. I can't remember a lot of the smaller Xbox channels, you know. I remember, you know, Nova Phoenix and whatnot, and of course Noxious BLD and MLD and some of them, but some of the smaller Xbox guys, I can remember their face, but I can't remember what their channel name was. So it's made it hard trying to find pro Xbox guys' videos. I've got tons of MLD, and I've got several of Magneto 39. And of course, you know, even though they were PC guys, I'm counting Zephyrnix and Samuel the Geek in that group because of the fact that they were two of the first that El Presidor went up against, and they were speaking positively about Xbox and trying to counter his points. And so he considered them weebles. And so, you know, that's the camp that I'm putting them in the course of the documentary. So despite I'm being a fan of hardcore games by From Software, I'm planning to buy Armored Core, which has come out. Yeah, well, go get it, man. Was that Zaire with the cookie? The chocolate chip cookie. Yeah, that was Zaire. That was Zaire, a.k.a. Next Gen 720. He was a little bit after all of this. You know, he was in like the second phase of it. I think by the time he really hit prominence, I'd already stopped doing the console war stuff. Because basically, my timeline is when I did my last nail in the coffin of hate funeral service for Black Baron, that's when I had my cutoff. I didn't really, you know, I did a few more after that. You know, the very last ones that I did was I did my review of the Xbox One, and that was it. Because before that, I had done Xbox Done, and I did a video about Don Matrick, and then the very last console war video that I really did was the review of the Xbox One, and after that, I was just doing mostly reviews. But as far as actually going up against somebody, the last person I did that with was Black Baron. And so, for the most part, when I did that funeral video of Black Baron, that was the end of my run with the Trey Brotherhood. And nobody really picked it up again after that. Then it just became, you know, more straightforward fanboys like Porter Rock and his generation of guys. See you, Master Chief. Thoughts on Castle Crashers? I mean, it was okay, but I mean, you know, it was Newgrounds. I mean, you know, there's only so much you can get from that. People are overhyping Starfield. To me, it looks like another No Man's Sky with Fallout. I think it looks more like Fallout with a little bit of No Man's Sky, but you know, we're mostly in agreement there. I would pay $1 for don't buy this DBTS and BTS. I'd buy that for $1. Well, let me tell you what my other idea would be. Would any, send me a Y if you would. Would any of you pay a $1 monthly membership if once per month, if for one thing, it would give you access to my Discord where we could have like a chat party after the 7thCast for like an hour? And once per month on Discord, you who were members would pick out a movie to stream, and we'd all watch it together, and I'd comment on it live while I was watching it. I mean, it can't be anything, can't be anything lewd, no XXX movies, but, actual films, Hollywood films, or even independent films. You guys would vote, pick out the movie you want to watch me react to, and once a month we'd have like a movie watching party. Would that be worth $1 a month to you? Because that's the only thing I could think of. Y'all let me know by typing a Y or an N in the chat. You watched my DBTS of Halo 3 and my God of War 3 review. Wow. Yeah, that's some old stuff right there, man. No Man's Sky new Echo update on PSVR 2 on another level for mine. I haven't played it since I platted it. I'm on my laptop now. My phone battery is low. Sorry to hear that. You're not going to offend me if you wouldn't do it. So, if you wouldn't do a buck to be involved in that, go ahead and put it in. I just want to gauge interest. Thoughts on Stray? Stray was all right. I didn't think it was anything mind-blowing, but, I got my enjoyment out of it. I beat it, and then I uninstalled it. Miles Morales was pretty good. It's just a little short. Could have been a little longer. And I'd have to get with somebody who would make like a little custom icon for your chat window that would show that you're a member of the channel. Because I can't do art worth a crap. So I'd have to come up with somebody to build me one of those little icons so that if you became a member, you'd have it. So that would be another thing for the buck. So y'all let me know. We got like 26 people watching. Drop a Y or a no. Let me know. So far, it's all been Ys. Ever played Evil West? There's a lot of Wests that came out at the same time. Or around the same time. I've got 3 different games that came out in the last 2 years that have something West. And so I don't remember which one is Evil West, but yes, I've played it. Thoughts on the Total War franchise? Never got into it. I liked turn-based strategy like Disgaea, Shining Force, but that kind of strategy game I never got into. And I'm surprised I haven't unleashed any magic powers tonight. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it churning, but it hadn't happened yet. Well, since barely anybody is responding, I've had 3 people say yes, no people say no. It sounded like, some of you just aren't interested enough in that to say one way or the other. So I'll take the hint on that. Stop talking about it. I do think that would be fun. Sit and let y'all pick some cheesy movie and make me watch it. Sometimes, though, I would want it to be a movie that I really enjoyed that maybe a bunch of you hadn't seen before. Like, the thing that made me think of that idea was I was sitting a few nights ago watching an old 80s movie called My Science Project. And you can't get it on streaming anywhere. I had to import a region-free Blu-ray of it from Europe. And I was sitting there watching it, and I was like, you know what? I bet there's a bunch of guys that follow me on YouTube that that don't even know this movie exists. I was like, wouldn't it be fun to share this movie with them, to sit and watch it together? And that's what initially gave me that idea that, with so many people around me in the community starting up these membership things, I was thinking, what can I offer that would make it worth people to be a member of a channel like mine? And I thought, let's all have a movie weekend once a month, a movie party. And I'd go all out with it. I'd make myself some popcorn, have me a soda there, and we'd sit and eat popcorn, watch the movie, maybe order a pizza and sit and eat some pizza. Watch and kind of just if it's a bad movie, just do the whole MST3K thing live. I think that'd be fun. But there's 26 people watching and only 3 people responded. So for those of you who watch the replay, Let me know down in the comments if that's something that would interest you. $1 a month to get to have like a monthly movie party with me on Discord. Let me know. Evil West was the one with the vampires. That really doesn't narrow it down much, man. It's the one that plays like a gun and a beat 'em up. Oh, the one that's kind of like a third-person shooter thing? Yeah, I have that one. I haven't played it that much. 8th played it more than me. Did you and 8th play It Takes Two? No, we did not. 7th, you don't want that, though, because you know you'd be made to watch a movie like Mr. Nanny or The Room. Whatever you guys wanted to watch, as long as it wasn't Prawn, you know, I'd watch it. You know, if you guys wanted me to watch On Golden Pond, I would watch it. And I'm opening myself up to the possibility that already having opened myself up to having to plat Hannah Montana the movie, that I could potentially be setting myself up to have to actually watch Hannah Montana the movie. I know this. But whatever would make it worth it for you guys, if it meant torturing me once a month, so be it. You could make me watch Melissa McCarthy movie. Now, of course, this is not something that would have a replay on the channel. This would be done strictly on Discord, so there's no record of it, and it's not going to be uploaded to my channel. So I'm not offending the copyright gods, you know. What about watching all 78 parts of the Chris Chan No, 8-Bit Eric already does that. 8-Bit Eric already does that. I think it'd be funny to see you watch Hannah Montana the movie. I've never even seen it. It can't be good. The game was garbage. The movie's got to be even worse. Do you feel like Incredibles 2 was disappointing? Yes. The villain wasn't as fun. And, you know, it felt like a retread of the first one with an inferior villain. It was the first one reversed. Instead of the husband getting trapped and the wife and the kids having to come save him, it's the wife that gets in trouble, and then he's the one left staying at home. They just gender flopped it. Otherwise, it's the same general plot with an inferior villain. 7th just got done watching part 1 of the Console Wars. I know it's going to get crazy. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The first episode is nothing. It's just setting everything up, giving the history that leads up to it. Starting with this one is where it's going to start to get fun, because this one is going to include footage of El Presidor and MLD and some others. It's going to be fun. I have to finish editing it tomorrow. And I by the time I'm done with it, I do suspect it's going to be longer than the first episode. I don't really want to get longer than 30 minutes per episode if I can avoid it. But it is going to be a little bit longer than the first one. So I really do hope y'all enjoy it. And again, if any of you haven't watched the first episode yet, just make note of the fact after the show, go watch it. It's worth it. It's going to be fun. And for those of you who have been around a while, if you watch this series and you feel like the style of it is a little bit familiar, that's because even the style that I'm making the series in is meant to be an Easter egg. Because what I'm doing is I'm copying well, not exactly, but generally copying the documentary style of a popular YouTuber from the Console War era who was named Archimedes123. So even the style of the series videos is an Easter egg to the Console War days. Oh! I almost forgot. There's new developments too. I probably should leave this as a surprise, but I'm not gonna. In addition to the core show, I'm attempting to reach out to get supplemental content. And by that, I mean interviews. So far, I have got agreements to have interview videos with General MLD and The Truth Setting You Free. I talked to him just yesterday, and Truth has agreed to do an interview with me about those days. And I will do interviews with other people if they're interested in it. So far, Solid Rev has not commented about this show at all. I have a feeling that he's mostly embarrassed of what he did in those days, and so he doesn't want any involvement in the show. So I doubt I would get an interview with him. But I am trying to get interviews with as many of the old guard as I can. All right, that makes 3. Tokes is going to do an interview. Yes, Tokes. We'll figure it out. We'll do it over Discord or something. Even if all you can do is like PSN chat and I have to bring in my PS5 and hook it up to my capture card, we'll do it one way or the other, son. We'll get it done. We'll figure it out based on what equipment you have. Hey, 7th, do you remember that canceled Xbox exclusive Scalebound that was a Devil May Cry ripoff? I would have loved to see you review that game. Yeah, Scalebound. You know, there had been some minor rumors that Microsoft was going to try to revive that, but I don't know if there's any truth to that or not. Thoughts on Celeste? That's more of 8's game. I've never really played it all that much. There's been another phase of canceling reactors on YouTube. What's your opinion on this situation? I don't really have respect for reaction channels because all they're doing is stealing audience and potential revenue from the originators of the video. Now, making a documentary about a lolcow, that's one thing. But literally just filming themselves, watching somebody else's content, it's the laziest thing you can do. It's the laziest form of content on this channel, on this site. And I'll give you a perfect example. Boogie2988 and Kid Behind the Camera, the son from the Angry Grandpa videos. They've been doing a series of videos back and forth, right? There is a guy on YouTube right now, and his name is K-Rock or something, Dick Rock or something, I don't remember. But literally, within an hour of either Boogie or Kid Behind the Camera posting a new video, he has a reaction video of their video on his channel. Siphoning views off of a video that's not even an hour old. And you ask me what my feelings are about it? F that guy and everybody like him. Because it's lazy. It takes no talent to do it. And especially since he's not really doing anything. He will just sit there and watch the video, and every now and again he'll pause it and go do something like, wow, that's crazy. And then he goes back to watching it again. That's not transformative media. That's not turning it into something new. It's bull. And so, no, I don't think it should be allowed. Because all it does is steal potential views from the original poster. I don't agree with it, and I never have. Reaction channels can kiss my ass. Hope you bring on Wipeout and Infinite Retro too. The last time I talked to Infinite, he wasn't. We didn't part on good ways. So, and plus, he's, you know, I know he's still active on Twitter, but he hid all of his videos, so I think he's attempting to step away from all that. As far as Wipeout, I don't have a way to contact him. I was fortunate with Truth Setting You Free because he is still on my PSN friend list to this day. And so I thought, I wonder if he still uses that account. And so I messaged him because I hadn't talked to him in a couple of years. And I messaged him, and he was still there. And he was like, yeah, I'll do an interview. Seventh, there's one video I can't find. I did in response to El Prezador when I think I mimic Prez as I had no legs, only shoes. I haven't found that one, Tokes. I haven't found that. I found the one where you called him El Pussy Whore, and I think you called Rev Solid Revlon or something like that. I've got that one, but I don't think I have one where you are doing the, on your knees with shoes thing. I have the one of El Prezador doing it. I have several of El Prezador where he's on his knees with fake shoes. And, I have several of those. But I don't have one of you doing it. So I guess you aren't really a fan of Tyrone. No, I'm not. I mean, if it's game trailers or game footage, movie trailers, fine, okay? But if you are re-uploading other people's videos and you're not really doing any kind of commentary or critique, you're just sitting there laughing at it, no. I'll tell you one that I don't mind, but I don't really understand the phenomena of it. There is a subgenre. Maybe Tokes can help me understand this. I don't know. Chris G might be able to explain it to me. There is a subgenre of the reaction video genre. And it's black people enjoying white music. Is that popular because of some kind of like subconscious racist thing with white people that they're like, oh, they like our music? Is that what it is? Because it's like and it's usually a black couple, like a husband and wife, and they're watching like Elvis Presley songs and the Carpenters and what's one of the other ones that they've done? The Everly Brothers, Unchained Melody or whatever. And the thing of it is like if one person or one black couple or one black person posts a video reacting to that, then like a whole series of other black YouTubers will listen and react to the same song. So you'll search like a song by Elvis Presley, and you'll have the Elvis Presley video, and then you'll have 20 of these black content creators reacting to that song. And I'm just wondering, is that like a subconscious racial thing with white folk that, it kind of triggers some kind of positive response that black people are speaking positively about a white person's music? I don't know. I don't get the appeal of the videos, but it's like its own genre. There's like thousands of them on YouTube. Yeah, I don't watch Sniper Wolf. Seventh, what about Shokio's reaction videos to Nintendo Direct? Again, that's him react. I mean, I've done like reacting to E3, like a live feed of E3. I'm talking about stealing someone else's, another YouTuber's content. That's different. I like Blasphemous HD and Internet City, but most Reacts channel. El Dwarfador, yeah. Seventh, as far as boxing games, do you think Undisputed will be better than Fight Night? I haven't seen any footage of Undisputed yet, Tokes. I'll have to check out the trailer. What is one monster heel in the WWE that should have had a better run? Well, Bray Wyatt is the first one that comes to mind. There were some good ideas there, but it just never had a good payoff. Good evening, Biggin. One-on-one 7thCast with True Setting. Well, it's not going to be a 7thCast. It'll be a filmed interview. That'll be like a supplemental video to the main show after the main show is done, or at least after season 1 is done. 7th, back in the 90s, black people loved Nirvana. It's nothing racist. I like David Bowie. I'm not saying it's a racist thing for black creators. I'm saying is maybe there a white racism going on where they enjoy watching those videos because of the fact that it's like a black person liking white music. That it's some kind of, oh, they like our stuff. You get what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not saying that black people can't like white music. I know they do. You know, one of my friends in high school, he was like a tremendous Kiss fan. He had just about every kind of Kiss memorabilia you could think of. So you'd walk into his bedroom and he'd have like NWA and hip hop stuff on one side of the wall, and then everything else was like Kiss, with Kiss action figures and Kiss posters and a Kiss lunchbox and all this stuff. So I'm not, anyone can like any kind of music. I mean, I've listened to rap and hip hop since I was 11 years old. I'm just saying, because there's such a tremendous subgenre of so many creators, and when you look at the comments, it just makes me wonder about that. It's just a curious thing. It's 2 a.m. Okay. But yes. Oh, yes. Okay. Good music is good music. Yeah. I see those videos. I don't believe them when I see listening to Enter Sandman for the first time. I don't believe they haven't heard those songs. Yeah, I think so too. There's a lot of them. Or like, first time wife is watching Back to the Future. My ass. Bull. I don't believe that for a millisecond. First time girlfriend watching The Goonies. No. First time I'm watching Superman. No. I never got into Nirvana. There was like 1 or 2 songs by them I liked. It was just too depressing. The music was too depressing for me. I like, really high adrenaline, upbeat stuff. Or I like more like, hillbilly redneck stuff like Elvis Presley, some of his stuff. Do you think Vince McMahon made the terrible decision to continue the show after? Yes. That pay-per-view should have ended right there, and all the people that were there that night and witnessed it should have had their money refunded and shown the door before they ever removed his body out of the ring. Please evacuate the building in a calm fashion. That show should not have gone on. 7th, do you watch hip-hop? No. I did a video about him once because he's a fraud. He used to talk about how he had this 28,000 game collection, but he would never show it. And he still didn't fully show it. He's like, I have this special device, blah, blah, blah. And all it was, he didn't show it on camera, but I knew what it was. It was an original Xbox that had been modded to run coin-op. So he had a bunch of ROMs. That was his game collection. Hip Hop Gamer is a fraud. Do I have 28,000 games? No. But I do have 2,300 games, physical, on the shelf that you can look at. You can come over to the house and see them. Hip Hop Gamer is a fraud, at least when it comes to retro gaming. Hard 8 like a month ago watched Back to the Future for the first... I still don't know about that. I don't know. First time watching wife eat spaghetti. Yeah. 7th, I listened to The Descendants and heard the Milo Goes to College album. It was pretty rad and nostalgic. Was that album the first time you heard from them? No, the first Descendants album I ever heard was their 1980... It's either 86 or 87. It was called Enjoy. The album cover has a cartoon roll of toilet paper on the front of it. So if you want to hear like what my first introduction to the Descendants were, it's the Enjoy album. There's definitely a lot of demographic pandering on YouTube. I see a lot of grown men acting crazy over mediocre. I've seen that a lot too, especially on the Xbox side lately. Trying to make Redfall being a perfect example. There were a lot of people that were shilling hard, trying to make that sound like it was this great, amazing game, and I knew better. I'd played it. I knew it sucked. I mean, New Legal, God love him. I'm friends with New Legal, but he was kissing that game's ass hard, and it didn't deserve a single one of those kisses, man. That game is terrible. But he was trying to make it sound like it was great. 7, do you think Bret Hart's bitterness over Goldberg's kick to his head in a career-ending concussion needs to stop and Bret needs to let it go? Well, Bret made his peace with McMahon, and he made his peace with Shawn Michaels. I don't know that he ever will with Goldberg, though, because as much as McMahon screwed him, as much as Shawn Michaels screwed him, neither of them ever permanently damaged him physically. And especially after he had his stroke a couple of years later. I don't know if he'll ever be able to forgive Bill for that. Which even then, I don't think it's really Bill's fault. It's the fault of the folks that rushed him through the power plant before he had sufficient training. That it's really their fault. They sent him out there with a lackluster skill set for being able to put on a good match without hurting the person that's helping him put out a good match. That's not necessary. He takes some partial blame for not realizing that he wasn't ready and going along with it, but it's mostly the fault of the executives at WCW that made that call. So I feel Bret ought to, have a little understanding of that and maybe bury the hatchet with Bill, especially since Bret's getting on up in years. I remember hip-hop blamed racism on the sales of the Order 1886. Didn't Pyro, J-Tech TV, didn't he kind of do that too? Worst game you've played this year? I haven't really played that. Honestly, I've been really busy at work. I mean, that's part of the reason why I got a promotion back in May. I've been super busy at work, so honestly, I haven't been playing all that much. But I would say Redfall is like the worst game I've played all year. Have you seen The Interview with James Franco and Seth Rogen? Was it funny? Yeah, it was funny. It's on Netflix, or it was the last time I checked. I don't own it, but I've seen it a couple of times. They hate us because they ain't us. Do you know of an Xbox person who is actually reasonable? Are all of them mindless fanboys? Behind the scenes, Tim Dog is a good dude. In front of the camera or on Twitter, he's very fanboyish. But behind the scenes, he's a good dude. I can't speak for most of the rest. New Legal is a good dude behind the camera. Those are the only two these days that I have any interact. Well, MLD. MLD is a real good dude behind the camera. Now, I've been friends with him for years. I was friends with MLD almost from day one. Not exactly, but almost from day one. I reached out to him and built a relationship with him behind the scenes before things really started to get, heated on camera between me and him. So, we've been talking for years and years. From Maxim, I agree with the race reacts to this music. I'm Hispanic. I don't really care if people like tacos. It's a weird validation thing with some people, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't know. It was just an observation I had. I'm not saying that there's anything, I'm just asking. I'm asking a question because I'm curious about it. Bret is my favorite wrestler of all time. I met him in 1995 at the Los Angeles filming of Mad TV. I haven't met Bret, but I have met Roddy Piper, and God, that was so incredible. And of course, you guys know about that already. I remember J-Tech saying Microsoft was racist for not putting a black girl on the cover of Fable 3. Okay. What happened to Crap Gamer? I have no idea. Is his channel gone or something? I mean, the last time I heard, he had flip-flopped back to Microsoft. He spent at least half of the last generation switching to the PlayStation side because he disagreed with Microsoft putting their games on PC, and Phil Spencer publicly destroyed him on Twitter. And so he went to PlayStation, but the last time I heard, he was back with Microsoft on the Series X. That ought to show you, man, he's a shill. He's just looking for whatever he feels will give him the most views and ad money. Do you think Hogwarts loot was generic? You mean the loot in Hogwarts Legacy? I didn't really have a problem if that's what you meant. Bret Hart is a death I'm not looking forward to. That one is going to suck. He's a hero of mine. Yeah, I think, he may have never been the most popular wrestler out there, but I think aside from Undertaker, Bret Hart is probably the most respected wrestler among other wrestlers. He's like the wrestler's wrestler. And it pains me that, I mean, I know there's been documentaries about him and whatnot, but it pains me that he doesn't get more recognition than he does. Because he was really great. He sold that stuff. He made it look real. He was a wrestler that, made you want to believe that it wasn't a work. How do you feel about Red Dead Redemption on the Switch? I wouldn't play it on the Switch. I'm not interested in playing it on the PS5 either when I can't play it at 60 frames per second. When that thing gets down to $19.95, I might buy it, but I ain't paying $50 for that. Not when it's no more optimized than it is. The fact that it's not 60 frames per second is a joke. An absolute joke. There is no reason why that game should still be 30 frames per second. None. I don't dislike Crap, but he's fun to clown. Bret Hart was a little monster. He broke down Undertaker, Sid Vicious, all the big guys. Yeah. Crap and Zaire are still around. They're just not fun to watch anymore. I had a little bit of interaction with Crap because, just like any other pro Xbox guy, when I was still doing the Trey thing, I reached out to him and I was like, would you like to do some videos back and forth? I send this same message to everybody on the Xbox side. You try to outdo me, I will legitimately try to outdo you. But we just establish rules. We don't talk about this. We don't talk about that. Don't talk about their personal life. Don't try to dox. Don't bring up family. Keep the personal attacks out. Aside from, you can call me fat. You can call me dumb. You can call me whatever you want. But let's, establish those ground rules. And then when we're in front of the camera, let's try to outdo each other and make something entertain me. And instead of, his reaction to that was he went on Twitter and tried to say that I tried to talk him into doing a fake debate. And so then I had to make a video showing the original email because by that point I'd already thrown kayfabe out the door when it came to Trey Brotherhood. I'd already explained publicly that it was a worked shoot or a partial work, that the debates were real, but the animosity was usually cranked up for entertainment purposes. Unless someone stepped out of line and we had to do it for real, which happened several times. And he didn't want to debate me, and so he tried to discredit me by saying that I'd tried to coerce him into a fake debate. And so I had to post the email, email conversation in response to destroy him for it. And he, to this day, he's never made videos about me or tried to counter anything that I said or whatnot. I've talked about him publicly, but he won't talk about me. In fact, he has me blocked on pretty much everything. Believe it or not, I still haven't played God of War Ragnarok. I've been very busy this year. I think you skipped my comment. I don't enter the deep end on a particular genre's musical spectrum, like listening to hardcore underground rap or heavy metal rock music. Do you feel the same way, if you understand what I'm saying? I'm very open-minded when I come to music. And, I will go on deep dives where I'm just kind of wanting to expand my musical repertoire, where, I've been listening to the same Spotify list for 2 months and I want some new material in there to spice things up. And so, I'll go on these deep dives like, I'd like to have more music that sounds like The Descendants. And so I'll go look for a bunch of new punk rock guys that I haven't heard before. Or I really want more bands that sound like Hardcore Superstar or 80s hair metal. So I'll go looking for a bunch of those bands. And, same thing. I'll go, I want something that's closer to old school Wu-Tang Clan. And so I'll go looking for some new rap stuff. I gotta say, modern rap, especially the SoundCloud guys, Eighth is a big fan of Post Malone. I'm not saying he's bad at what he does. I just can't get into that new generation of rap. I'm just, my tastes are a little bit too old school. I like Ice Cube and Snoop and NWA and old school Eminem and Dr. Dre and Tupac, Biggie, and I like some of the really, really old school stuff like Sugar Hill and Digital Underground and the Boogie Boys, Run DMC, Kool Moe Dee, UTFO, The Real Roxanne. I love a lot of that really old, early 80s rap. Fly Girl from the Boogie Boys, that kind of stuff. And of course, I adore pretty much every Beastie Boys album there ever was. I love the Beastie Boys. No, I was never into Vanilla Ice. I did kind of like that song by Snow, though. The one where you couldn't understand a damn word he was saying. I kind of liked that song. It had a cool rhythm to it. Informer. I liked Informer. I even liked the Fat Boys. I had a ton of Fat Boy albums. I had the Disorderly soundtrack. I had Crushin'. I had the one that came out after Crushin' that had the Freddy Krueger song on it. I had several Fat Boys albums. I grew up with the stuff because I was part of the MTV generation. So, you'd watch Yo MTV Raps. You'd watch, the Headbangers Ball. I absorbed every kind of music that was on MTV like a sponge. I loved it all. There were some guys that I never got into. I never got into A Tribe Called Quest. I never got into Young MC. I did like PM Dawn, but I don't really consider them a rap band. They were more of just a kind of a trippy, almost Jimi Hendrix inspired. What would you even call that genre? I don't know, but I liked PM Dawn. I thought they were really good. In fact, they did a really cool cover of a Jimi Hendrix song, You've Got Me Floatin'. That's a great cover of a Jimi Hendrix song. I love that. I used to play it on the radio a lot when I was a DJ in college. You've got your ears glued to the wall. Chattanooga State's 91 Rock. Greetings and salutations. It's 4 o'clock past the top of the hour. My name is Mike Cross. Coming up in the next couple of minutes, we got music from Green Day and the Butthole Surfers right after this. Oh, man, I had so much fun being a DJ. Oh, it was so much fun. That's not my real name, by the way, but you know, when you signed on to be a DJ as a additional elective at college, they would assign you a DJ name so that no one would be trying to look you up in the real world, and mine was Mike Cross, Cross. Hey, 7th, do you have an old CRT television? Yes. That leads me to think that you haven't watched my most recent game room tour video, Ace of Horns. I recently posted a few weeks ago my 2023 game room tour video, and you will see my CRT in there. Yep. You outed yourself, son. You ain't been watching my videos. Shame on you. The best genre of corporate slaves are the people like Crap and Mooch who, instead of realizing sucking off a company is bad, they instead start sucking off the competitor. Yeah. I ain't got nothing for Mooch, Randall Thor, Colt Eastwood. You know, I respect Tim Dog because I've had conversations with him on a private level. And, you know, he's a good dad and various things. And he and I have a number of things in common. Not a whole lot in common because I grew up in the South and he's more northern dude. But, you know, up until the point where I kind of clowned him for doing some fanboyish stuff and he muted me, we got along really well. I like Tim Dog. The rest of them, though, and I like New Legal. But the rest of them, they're not on the caliber of from my era with MLD and Noxious and all those guys. Totally different. We weren't doing it for money, you know. Back in the day, none of us were monetized. None of us. I eventually got monetized, and then Icy Rhythms decided he wanted to help me out, so he went to his local library and started spam refreshing my videos and got my monetization taken away for click fraud. And I wasn't even involved in it. And so I ended up having to open another channel. So the channel that we're on now, this is my second channel. It's not the original channel I started with. I closed that one down. And, yeah, Icy Rhythms. He had his heart in the right place, but, yeah. The fat boys are back. Warren G, Regulate. Bone Thugs and Harmony, yeah. Naughty by Nature. I liked Naughty by Nature. I liked Onyx. I thought Onyx were great. I was never a fan of MC Hammer, but I loved Onyx. Slam is still one of my favorite songs to this day. I love Slam. Anytime, you know, I'm listening to Spotify and that one comes up in my Spotify list, I crank the volume up. I love that song. MTV Generation. Hell yeah. I can recall when MTV played music videos all afternoon. They played music videos 24 hours a day. And you'd have shows every now and again, like Remote Control, Dial MTV, you know, MTV Raps, Headbangers Ball. There was an alternative show whose name I can't remember. The host was a bald dude. Can't remember the name of his show, but it was all alternative music. Yeah, man, I kind of envy you. You haven't played Ragnarok, Jedi Survivor, Remake, Forbidden West. You have a lot of great stuff. I'm almost through I beat 16, but no, I haven't played any of those games. I've been too busy, man. I'm amazed that I was able to finish Final Fantasy 16. This new position, it keeps me busy, bro. Because even when I'm I'm basically on call. I could get a phone call from my boss at any point, Hey, I need you to hop on real quick. We've got a crisis. Okay. Here I come. Did you like EPMD? I'm not sure that I remember EPMD. It's not ringing a bell. I mainly listened to grunge, alternative, and hard rock in the 90s. I listened to a lot of grunge and alternative too. I mean, that was when I grew my hair out long. I was playing in a punk band, but I was listening to a lot of grunge. So that was when I first grew my hair out. And, same thing back then. Very rarely did I actually dry my hair, so it would end up curling up. So I was walking around with this like Eddie Vedder from, original Pearl Jam hair. Yeah, that's what it looked like. And of course, I'm not trying to sugarcoat things or look younger than I am. Obviously my hairline is receded from where it was when I was 19. It used to be more closer to right here, and now it's up here. When it was down here and I had my hair long, all of this would just hang down in my face. So I had like this curtain of hair with just like basically my nose exposed, I looked like Cousin It from the Addams Family. It was great. Unfortunately, I don't have any pictures of that, and I don't have any videos of it either because I didn't own a camcorder back then. I do have like one picture from when it was about at this length, like right here, but I don't have a picture of when it got down to here because I used to have it almost down to like Alpha Omega Sin length. I'm not even there yet. I mean, it's about right here, a little bit past my collarbone. And it took me a year to grow this out. But during that period when grunge was really popular, I was also listening to a lot of Christian alternative music. So like Goaty Hook, Noggin Toboggan, Starflyer 59, Plank Eye. I was listening to MXPX. I was listening to a bunch of them back then. Slick Shoes. If it makes my foot tap, I'll listen to it. Doesn't matter if it's country, even gospel music. If it'll make my foot tap, I listen to it. Because I grew up in the Church of God. Church of God was known for their music. They'd have a 60-person choir with a piano front man and a drummer and a guitarist and a bass player and a horns and string section. It was a big production every Sunday morning. And so I grew up listening to that music, and that music would just ring through the congregation in the congregation hall. And some of it was so powerful that it'd make it feel like it was blowing you into the back of the building. Some of the songs, man, were just whether it didn't matter whether you believed in Christianity or not. There was power in that music, and it would hit you right here. And I grew up with that. And, my grandmother was big into Elvis Presley. My dad was big into Jerry Lee Lewis. So I grew up with like classic rock and roll. And then my dad bought me my first like little portable radio. And, it had headphones. And it had no tape player. It was just a radio. And I would tune it to KZ 106. Which was the local rock station in Chattanooga. Now it's an oldie station, I think. But back then it was whatever the modern rock was. And so I started listening to that, and that's what exposed me to, Night Ranger, Sister Christian, and Bruce Springsteen, Michael Jackson, all the big Talking Heads, all the big stuff from the 80s. And then in 1983, we finally got cable TV. And there I had MTV. And so then I discovered Def Leppard and Van Halen and all these bands. And my musical tastes have been diverse from the point where I was old enough to know what music was. When I first started, my earliest memories of church, we were in a smaller church. And my dad actually played drums for the church. And I can remember vividly being like 3 years old and sitting on my dad's knee. And he's put the drumsticks in my hands and he's holding my hands. And he's playing drums with my hands. And then he would let go of my hands and I would still keep the rhythm on the snare and on the hi-hat. I have a natural rhythm that I was born with. You know, I can't explain it. I just have it. And, you know, all through my young life, I wanted to be a drummer, but my dad pushed me to guitar because he was like, with a guitar, you don't need anything else. You don't need an amp. You can just sit and play guitar. You can't quietly sit and have alone time with a set of drums. There's no such thing. But really what it was, he didn't want to have to listen to me banging away on a drum set in the basement, and he didn't want to pay for it either. Because it's more expensive to get into good drums than it is to get a good guitar. Anyway. Oh, that's right. I get to talking. I lose track. One hour remaining. So far, we have had $27 donated, which puts us up to what? Let's see. Because I'm terrible at doing math in my head. That puts us up to $135 out of 300. So we're a little under halfway there, and we've only got 2 shows left to do after this one. I don't think we're going to make the goal, guys. I don't think we're going to make the goal, so I'm going to end up just having to go cheap on Retropalooza and not do as much as I was planning to do. I'll still film there though, but it's not looking like we're going to get there. Not looking like we're going to get there, cause that means we'd have to make another $165 in the next 2 shows, which would be $82 a show. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. That's okay. That's okay, but it's not going to happen. It's my own fault. I stayed away from you guys for too long. I got too wrapped up in work and wrapped up in 8's work, which was making my schedule harder. And so, you know, for the longest time, it was just easier to not do the show. And I shouldn't have done that. I should have figured it out and made time for you guys. So I apologize for that. Anyway, let's finish up with the questions here. Did you like College Humor back in the day? I never really watched it that much. Were you a hip-hopper? No, I was never a hip-hopper, but I liked rap and hip-hop music. But I was never... I would never be able to rap. I have rhythm, but I don't have the diversity of the mouth to be able to, like, you know, especially not freestyle. You know, I'm not as dexterous with my speech. I'm not dexterous enough to be able to do rap. I can sing, but I can't rap. Thoughts on The Last Emperor? I haven't seen that movie since I was a teenager. I've probably forgotten most of it. Missed question about Melly Mel. I remember Melly Mel, but I never really got into Melly Mel. I'll tell you who I was into, though. Slick Rick. I liked Slick Rick. Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh. This is the show. Which they I don't know which came first, that or the theme song to Inspector Gadget, but come on. Do you agree with Owen Hart's wife that she doesn't want to have Owen in the Hall of Fame? I can understand why, but I do believe of all the wrestlers that aren't in the Hall of Fame that deserve it, he's at the top of the list. But I can understand why she wouldn't want him to be in there. Seventh, would you play an Adam Sandler game where you play as Adam Sandler and you have to go into the worlds of all of his movies like Happy Gilmore? Yes, I would do that. I would have fun with that. Do you think that grunge music is too depressive? Not all grunge music, but certainly Nirvana was very downer. You know, it was a downer thing to me. And some of Pearl Jam was too, and so was Alice in Chains. You know, I liked songs by all of them, but some of them just went really dark. And again, I love stuff that gets your adrenaline pumping. I like the kind of music where when it comes on in the radio while you're driving somewhere, you start driving faster without even realizing it because it's pumping you up. That's the kind of music I like. Yes, I've seen the gameplay for the new RoboCop game. I'm not that enthused. You know, I'm going to reserve judgment till I have a chance to try it. Is New Legal legit or is he trolling? A little bit of both. New Legal is a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, Farb. Kind of like me, but he doesn't have my game knowledge either. Not many people do. I'm not tooting my own horn, but, you know, I'm old as shit. I may not look like it, but in another 18 months or so, I'm going to be 50. 50. I know I don't look like I'm about to be 50, but in another 18 months... No, I don't like dubstep. Because it's all just... It doesn't do anything for me. You know, in general, I've never really liked a whole lot of electronica-style music. I used to really like Information Society back in the day. I loved their Hack album. Information Society Hack. I liked Prodigy back in the day. I liked Prodigy. But dubstep I haven't been able to get into. Closest thing to dubstep that I've liked would be Daft Punk. You know, I love their Tron soundtrack and I love some of their other stuff. That's the closest. I did and I know this ain't dubstep either, but it's electronic music. I used to really like a couple of songs by the Chemical Brothers. And yeah, Chemical Brothers. Your new vid didn't show up in my subs. I am not at all surprised. Favorite Led Zeppelin song? The Immigrant Song, or whatever that song was called. I can't remember the name of it now, but that's my favorite one. Well, no, my favorite Led Zeppelin, that's my second favorite. My favorite Led Zeppelin song is Traveling Riverside Blues. However, overall, I'm not a tremendous fan of Led Zeppelin because as much as he was respected, Page was a thief. He flat out stole from multiple musicians in his orchestrations. Multiple musicians, which really caused me to lose respect for him. Thank you for the Trey for Life Episode 1. Episode 2 goes live Monday night, Elvin. Thanks for watching it. Man, life happens. Don't worry about it. 7th, did you hear the Melly Mel diss song towards him? No, I haven't heard it. Like I said, I don't listen to a lot of modern stuff. Like, I think I've heard maybe half of a Machine Gun Kelly song. You know? Although now I hear he's doing, like, punk rock and stuff. How will Hulk Hogan be remembered when it's time? He'll be remembered as one of the most popular wrestlers ever, but a man that made a lot of enemies and bad decisions over his career. Yes, I liked LL Cool J. 7th, did you see the movie Grapes of Wrath? I've seen a movie of Grapes of Wrath. It was a black and white movie. I had to watch it when I was in high school. Had to read the book too. Wasn't particularly fond of either one. If WWE wanted to put Owen in the Heart of Fame, they could. It's technically nothing she could do about it. True, but I would imagine they'd get a lot of negative press if they didn't respect her wishes, considering the particulars of his death. Do you have a favorite grunge band? Well, like I said, there was a band that was a Christian grunge band back in the day called Plank Eye that I really liked. I'm pretty sure they're not around anymore, but are you interested in the new 2D Sonic game? That's another one where I'm going to have to reserve judgment until I play it. I've been burned too many times by Sonic at this point. Machine Guns Kelly's Punk is actually good. Well, maybe I'll give it a listen. What is one issue you have with modern movies? Hardly anything new gets made anymore. You know, where are all the My Science projects and Goonies and, you know, the 80s were such a creative period where, yeah, you got some sequels, Star Wars, Back to the Future, Indiana Jones, Star Trek, but there were just as many brand new properties. Explorers. You know, I love Explorers. That's one of my favorite movie soundtracks of all time. E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Come on. Where are all those types of movies where people are taking risks and doing something new? That's not really happening that much. Not in main Hollywood cinema. It's all sequels and reboots and adapting existing IP. Yeah, I got a promotion back in May. It came out to about an extra $6,000 a year, something like that. Once my car gets paid off a year from next month, that'll free up a lot of funds and I'll be in a much better position. I'm in a better position now than I was in April, but I'll be in a much better position 13 months from now when my car is paid off, because my car payment is basically $500 a month, and once that's paid off, that's $500 a month every month that I can put on other things, because I'm not going to rush out and trade in for another car. I'm going to hold on to this one until, you know, they ban all gasoline powered cars and I'm forced to get some electric piece of crap, and, you know, then I'll have to buy another car. But until then, I'm just holding on to my Challenger until they either force me to get rid of it or it breaks down. You know, that raise is not really as big as it sounds because, you know, I got that raise and then my rent went up. And so it canceled out a good chunk of that raise every month. So it helped out a little bit, but not a tremendous amount. An issue I have with modern music. Rock music just isn't as good as it used to be. It's just not. You know? And I know they're not a new band, but, you know, the one thing that I point to more than anything else when people ask me about my opinion of modern music, I point at Imagine Dragons. God, what an awful band. I can't stand them. Honestly, I don't think modern music has been really worth even listening to since around 2010, maybe. There's been a couple of good bands here and there, but for the most part, the stuff that's come out since then has been garbage. I was listening to a documentary podcast on the late 80s, early 90s era of Jay-Z's flow, and it's fascinating that he was at the forefront of the change from Sugar Hill Gang and Curtis Blow flow. Yeah. Seventh, a long time ago in the 2010s, you used the term "weetard" in one of your videos when my friends and I were watching it, and at the time I owned a Wii and both my friends called me that. Funny, huh? That was just the established nickname. I mean, back then every group had a nickname. You know, Wii fans were weetards. Xbox players were either Xbots or Weebles, which was something that El Presidor came up with. That'll get explained in the next video. Sony guys were either known as ponies or drones. So everyone had nicknames. 7th, do you think Imagine Dragons is for metrosexuals and Gen Z? It's a mostly Gen Z thing. 8th don't like them. I know that. I know you're burnt out with Sonic, but are you looking forward to that Knuckles spin-off series? No. Thank you, 7th. I thought I was the only one who hated Imagine Dragons. No, you're not alone, Chris G. You are not alone. Heck, I liked that band Fun more than I liked Imagine Dragons. You know, I still don't know what I stand for. Remember that band? That guy that almost kind of sort of sounded like Freddie Mercury a little bit, and the name of the band was Fun. I think they're better than Imagine Dragons, and I don't even like them that much, but I like them better than Imagine Dragons. I cannot stand that band. I'll listen to a marathon of every album of My Chemical Romance before I'll listen to a single song of Imagine Dragons. Same thing with Fall Out Boy. I can't stand Fall Out Boy past their first album. Yes, that's what needs to happen with Hollywood Star Child in a Bubble. Interesting name there. They need to start taking risks on original scripts again. Stop churning out the same retreaded crap over and over. Thoughts on the Tomb Raider reboot games? And do you think it's better than the Uncharted game? I don't think they're better than Uncharted. I liked the first one. I never really put a lot of time into the second one and third one. I haven't watched Peaky Blinders. SWO Gotta Go. I haven't watched it. I've had it recommended to me, that one and Boardwalk Empire, but I haven't watched either one of them. 7th, what's worse, Imagine Dragons or Justin Bieber? Oh. You might as well ask me which is worse, having cancer or having AIDS. I mean, that's why I download my music and play it off my phone. I hate I don't listen to the radio either. When I do listen to the radio, like if I'm just being lazy and I don't feel like hooking up my phone to listen to my Spotify, I listen to an oldies channel because all they play is 80s stuff. When I was a kid, the oldies channel played like, Elvis and Jerry Lee Lewis and a lot of the black R&B and Chuck Berry and stuff like that. And the Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, that kind of stuff. That's what the oldies channels played when I was a kid. Now they play 80s music. They play Def Leppard and Bon Jovi and Journey and stuff like that. Ever heard of a band called Narrow Head? No. I'll check them out, though. Narrow Head. Modern pop music is extremely forgettable and corny. 80s was an era, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. That's the peak. That's the pinnacle, man. It's been downhill ever since. Even Green Day sucks now. They don't even sound like Green Day anymore. That new album they put out, he doesn't even sound like himself. He's trying to do something different with his voice, and it sucks. My previous post was actually a question. Yeah, and I answered it. I think they need to start taking risks on original scripts. That's what I said. What needs to happen so that they'll do that is that someone needs to take a risk on an original script and it become a hit. And then Hollywood will start scrambling. Give me new scripts. Get rid of all this sequel bullshit. Give me more scripts. I want to have another movie like that. All it takes is one to set off the chain reaction. Somebody's got to write just a kick-ass script, like a new original sci-fi thing, for example, and it has to become like a monster hit, and then Hollywood will try to replicate it by looking for other new original scripts. Say, for example, Zack Snyder's new Rebel Moon thing coming out to Netflix. If that becomes a monster hit, then they're going to start looking for other original sci-fi stuff to replicate the success. That's what Hollywood does. Gran Turismo movie seems promising. I don't care about it. Have you heard of the band Crazy Licks? Yes. Yeah, they're one of those bands that sounds like they're out of the 80s, just like Hardcore Superstar. Hardcore Superstar sounds like they would have been like on the radio right between Bon Jovi and Motley Crue. I love Hardcore Superstar. They're badass. I'll tell you another band that I like is Volbeat. I really like Volbeat because it sounds like a mixture of metal and punk, and their singer was a big fan of Elvis Presley. It's such a weird mix. It's such a weird mix, and I really, really like it. Favorite Journey song? Any Way You Want It. Did you ever like Mudvayne? Not especially. We need a sequel to the AVGN. No. AVGN movie was not good. Not good. I know I'm friends with them, but I'm being completely honest here. The Game Chaser movie was way better than the AVGN movie because the Game Chaser movie felt true to what they had established on their show. The AVGN movie, there's some AVGN tropes in there, but he never had a sidekick cameraman. His sidekick was Mike Matei. So it felt weird for him to be hanging out with this new character instead of hanging out with, Mother Effer Mike. It just didn't feel right. And some of the humor in it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right that AVGN would walk into a bar and women would walk up to him wanting to get their boobs signed. That didn't seem like something that would happen to AVGN. That whole movie just sucks. The writing in it is terrible. I didn't say that to his face when I met him, but I'm not that kind of a-hole. In the latest interview with GQ, Michael Cera said that there aren't any more movies made for $10 million anymore, like Middle of the Road. I disagree with that. You know how much the Game Chasers movie cost? It was like under $200,000, if I remember right. It's like $170,000, something like that. And that movie, for what they had to work with, it looks great. Especially the 8 or 9 seconds that I'm in it. 7th, who is your favorite narrator in a movie or game? I don't know about game. In movies, it would be between Morgan Freeman, naturally, and probably Anthony Hopkins. We're getting down to the last 30 minutes, folks. Getting down to the last 30 minutes. Got 30 minutes left, 2 shows, and about $165 left to go to meet the Retropalooza goal. All the AVGN movie had to be was a Dumb and Dumber clone with James Mike and the Couch Guy. Exactly. Or, I know, that movie Fanboys, where the guys are trying to break into Skywalker Ranch so their friend that's dying of cancer can see episode 1 before he dies. Something along those lines. I mean, I understand that there had to be some freaky stuff because they had established that with like Mega Death Christ and the glitch gremlin and all that. So you knew there was going to be some cheesy effects and some weird characters in it. But they just went too far with it, and they introduced all these new characters when they already had established characters that they could have had in it. Like the Couch Guy. Like Mike Matei. And I actually talked to Mike Matei about that. And he said that he just preferred being a behind-the-scenes guy. And that's why, him and Couch Guy had a cameo in it, but weren't co-stars in it. Because Mike Matei said they just preferred to be background dudes. No, I was never a fan of the Kane and Lynch games, especially the second one. I felt the same way, Star Child. That movie felt less like it was made for the people that got him there and more like something to put on his resume to try to get him into Hollywood as some hot indie director or writer or something. And it just didn't turn out that way. Thoughts on Ready to Rumble? Ready to Rumble has some funny moments, but I don't consider it like, one of my go-to comedy movies. I get nostalgia for it every now and then, but I don't know. There was just some things about it that were too corny. Like, they went too far towards maintaining kayfabe. The fights were all real and all that stuff. They should have just been honest with it. But it does have some funny moments. Like the whole thing where he sticks his hand down the back of the crack of his ass and then was like, there's something wrong with my Slurpee here. Take a whiff of this. Oh, that's funny. But overall, it wasn't as good as it could have been. And I didn't like the fact that they got the guy who was one of the Three Musketeers in the I can't remember the actor's name, but I didn't like that they got him to play the main wrestler and then just had Chris Kanyon do all of his stunts for him instead of getting an actual wrestler to play the main character of the movie. I mean, I'm cool with DDP being the bad guy, but they should have had another wrestler that was playing. Like, they could have had Chris Kanyon was hilarious on the mic. He should have just been the star of the movie. Because it's not like the guy they had playing the main character was some super well-known actor, Just get a wrestler who could act and who could be funny to play that part. And I think Kanyon could have done it. Yeah, I believe James is tired of being the nerd. And that if he had any way of making money off of videos, that he would do anything else than AVGN. I firmly believe that. I think he's tired of it at this point. But he's boxed himself in. He's tried to branch out and do other things, and they haven't taken off the way he would like to. Like his band, for example. The best YouTuber movie I've seen is still the Fred movies. Have you seen Adventures in Game Chasing yet, Farb? Star Child in a Bubble is a movie reference. Which one? The Man That Fell to Earth? Or are you talking about 2001? Remember Rated D? Yeah, I talked to Rated D just the other day. He's helping provide me with some of the archived footage that I'm using for the series. Seventh, check out Mandragora gameplay, getting strong Symphony of the Night vibes, and I backed it on Kickstarter. I'll take a look at it. Thanks for the $5, Living Legend. Appreciate it. Add that in. Thank you, sir. Yes, AVGN has a band. It's called Rex Viper. He's the rhythm guitar player. He's not the lead guitar player. He's the rhythm guitar player. He basically he's just up there playing power chords. Noxious BLD. Noxious BLD. Dude, where have you been? I have been looking for you. Everybody, and in case you don't know, Noxious BLD was one of the members of the 360 Republic. He was the maker and creator of the X and Bot videos. And I have been looking for him. So yes, I have been looking for you because I have been looking. I have been hoping that you had some of the X and bot stuff archived somewhere, because I've only found like a tiny, like 5-second clip of the Hooge X and bot video. Remember the water buffalo video? I've got like a teensy tiny, itty bitty little clip of that video. So I was hoping beyond hope that you had some of that stuff archived. And another thing, and I don't know if you'd be willing to do this, but unlike most of the other people in the community, I remember that there was a period where you actually got on camera and were making on-camera videos, and my memory of it was that they were kind of like the Daily Show for the console war community. You were doing like, you had like a little fake news set with a, where you were putting in like footage and stuff over on the side to make it look kind of like it was a news broadcast. If you've got any of that and would be willing to have it on the show, I'd love to have it. Anything you've got. Even if you've got like videos that other people made that you downloaded to take clips from. Anything you have, man, hit me up. Like if you're on Twitter, message me on Twitter. Anything you'd be willing to give me that you've got, man. That'll make the show so much better. Because that's one of my... Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. I remember it like it was yesterday, man. I remember it. And there were, you didn't do it long. It was like maybe 4 or 5 of them. And then, I don't know, they just disappeared. They weren't there. But they were on the Noxious BLD channel because I was subbed to you. And like the set was kind of made out of, it looked like it was made out of cardboard. And it was dude sitting here, and then to the left there was a screen that was kind of superimposed, and it was like watching the Daily Show, but it was covering Xbox stuff or PS3 guys. And I could have swore that was you, because I remember going to the Noxious BLC channel and watching it there, and somebody reaching out to me that said, "Man, go see this," because they were surprised. I don't know, man. Then who was it? It was like a tall, skinny white dude in a suit with his hair kind of frizzed out like this. I could have swore that was you. Tall, skinny white guy in a suit, and his hair was just... And no, it was not... No, it was not Humpmaster. This dude looked like he was over 6 feet. Tall, skinny, in a suit, and his hair just almost looked like... You know who he kind of looked like? Like a early 20s Frank Zappa. I ain't white. They were definitely in the Republic. I could have swore that was you, man. I don't know then. I don't know who that was. But still, if you've got any of the X and bot videos, especially the Water Buffalo one, like I need them, man. Any help you can provide, anything that you've got. Even if you've got like archived footage of me, if you've got archived footage of any of the other 360 guys that I don't even remember their names, because I have way more Trey Brotherhood stuff than I have Xbox stuff. You know, I've got MLD, and I've got Magneto 39, and I've got some others. I have very little Xbox guy stuff. So anything you've got, man. Dude of the Age, yeah, I've got Dude of the Ages stuff. I have all of his stuff, because his stuff was still archived. I've got his stuff. I don't have any of you, like a little 3-second clip, just teeny tiny. Blink and you miss it. I don't have any of your stuff. I've got very, very, like, just a teensy tiny bit of real GTA 4. I don't have much of him. He was this Hispanic guy that would always say, "Suck my dick is long." That guy. I've barely got anything of him. I've got some stuff of Hooge, but I don't have your water buffalo video. So yeah, any of your X and Bot stuff, any stuff where you downloaded somebody else's video to chop it up and make a video with it, if you've got it, I need it, man. If you've got it, I need it. I wish I knew who that was now. I could have swore that was you. I'm going to have to ask Black Bond. Maybe he'll know. Could have swore that was you. What would you like from Switch to hoping portable 1080p 60 frame? I just want Nintendo to have a trophy system, man. That's my only thing that I want that they aren't already providing. No, it wasn't Rev. Like I said, this guy looked like a young Frank Zappa. Tall and skinny with a little bit of a beard, and his hair was long and all frizzy and stuck out almost like an afro. It just... I don't know. I can picture him in my mind, and I could swore that his stuff was on the Noxious BLD channel. I was so sure of that. Man, that's bugging me now. Because now I really want to know who that was. If you made a Lord of the Rings style movie about Trey for Life console wars, Humpmaster Flex is the Gollum. I don't know. I don't know about that, man. I've been on the Weapon Wheel podcast, Living Legend. I was on it years ago. They never invited me back. I was on it that one time. Years and years ago. Yeah, Noxious, if you could hit me up on Twitter and, maybe upload them to your channel and set them to private and just send me the links, I'd greatly appreciate it, man. I'll put you in the credits as having helped contribute. I have no problem with that at all. Videos saved were on an old laptop from 10 years ago. I might have a hard drive of videos saved somewhere, but I'd have to find it. Since I moved a long time ago and I have to look. Yeah, man, if you wouldn't mind looking, I'd really appreciate it, brother. Because it just, trying to cover the 360 Republic just wouldn't be the same without having you in it. It wouldn't be the same. Yours were some of my favorite videos from that side, bro. They were hilarious. I loved them. As simple as they were. Because, X and Bot didn't exactly have a whole lot of frames of animation, but they were hilarious. They were like Pervy Sage before Pervy Sage came along. No, I don't know which episode of Weapon Wheel I'm on. It's got to be like at least 7 years ago, 6-7 years ago. Because it was before I moved to Texas. It was when I was still in North Carolina, and that was 6.5 years ago. So it's got to be way on back there. But yeah, I know this show, I know my series isn't getting a whole lot in views because there's not that many people left on YouTube that even remember that era, man. I'm mainly making this just for the folks that are still around to appreciate it. And I'm trying to do it right. I want to give everybody their due. And so I just wouldn't feel that it was complete without having X and Bot in it. So anything you can find, man. And not to put any pressure on you, but the sooner you can find it, the better. Because episode 2 goes live Monday. And then the next episode after that is going to be called The Major Players. And it's just going to be profiles of all the biggest channels that were involved in this. And right now, I have this tiny little clip of you making fun of Hooge that's like 3 seconds long. I think I stole it off of one of Black Bond's videos. And that's all I got. So, if you can find it, man, sooner the better. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you coming back to say hello. Don't be a stranger, man. I'm not the only one that remembers you. Solid Rev. A while back, me and Black Bond and Solid Rev and General MLD were on a sort of one-shot podcast with Review Tech USA, and everybody remembered you. You came up as a topic of discussion, and everybody remembered X and Bot. So, you were an important part of it, whether you realize it or not. So I want to do you justice. I don't want to just throw up a still shot of the characters and say, because you can't really explain why it was so funny unless you see it. It's not something you can put into words. I gotta have it, man. Let me know. My Twitter is at the 7th level. If you have Twitter, go follow me. I'll follow you back, and we'll work through PM. I've been wanting to catch up with you anyway. But man, that opens up a whole new mystery. Who was that guy? Who was that guy? That's going to drive me nuts now. Damn it. And again, if you also find any videos of other Xbox 360 guys that I'm not remembering, send those my way too. Like, do you remember Nova Phoenix? He eventually changed his name to Novaverse. I don't have any videos of him. I don't have any videos of El Baracho or Master Baracho. He eventually changed his name to 8-Bit Joker. I don't have any videos of him. I only have videos of other people responding to him. I need some of that. Just anything you've got, anything you find, send it my way. And go follow me on Twitter, and we'll talk later. We need more episodes of that podcast with you and Rich. Yeah, well, Rich expressed interest in doing it again, but I don't know. I don't know when and if that would ever happen. I mean, Rich told me on Twitter the other day that he wanted to, that he was willing to do a shout out of the Trey for Life show on his live stream, which his live stream usually gets like 5,000 or 6,000 people. That would be cool. I do have some Blackbuster Critic. I have some of him. I have some of Shokio. I'll tell you one thing I don't have. I wish I did. I don't have the video where El Presidor declared me the new leader of the Trey Brotherhood, because he kept it up for a week and then he deleted it. I wish I had that, but I highly doubt anyone would have downloaded that. I don't have any of my original videos that I did on Tokes, because I felt so bad about what I did to him that I deleted them. I don't have my last nail in the coffin video for Truth Setting You Free, because when we buried the hatchet and he deleted all of his videos concerning the Trey Civil War, I deleted it too. I didn't just delete it off YouTube. It's gone. Like, I didn't even have it on a hard drive. Part of that is because the house got broken into and my laptop was stolen in 2010. That's part of it. And so all the videos that I had archived were gone. They went with the laptop. Thoughts on Broken Games? I haven't really had that much interaction with him. I had some PMs with him back when YouTube had, private messages. And, of course, I was on Weapon Wheel one time. I haven't had that much interaction with him. But he seemed like a cool guy. He seemed all right. I always got along with him. I've never had any beef with BG. We got about 10 minutes left, folks. 10 minutes left. Do you think Handsome Jack is one of the greatest video game antagonists? He's one of my favorite video game villains of all time, yes. I love Handsome Jack. That's one of the reasons why I don't think Borderlands 3 is near as good, because its villains were terrible. Terrible. It's like Gen Z trash. I hated them. The best of both worlds. Oh, Super Brothers and Fat Gamer. Yeah, I have some of them too. I have some of them along with the videos that I made on them. I have videos that I made against Dark Cloud 1983. And someone mentioned MVP. I do have a couple of MVP videos. The one video that everyone wants, though, is gone. And that's the Skype chat where me and Dark Cloud were trolling him real hard. And he was drunk and he lost his temper and he attacked his girlfriend's father-in-law and got arrested and thrown in the pokey. He was enjoying that prison time. And it all happened live on the air. And we just kept trolling him and trolling him and trolling him. And he got pissed off. And he stormed out of the room. And he got into a fight with his father-in-law. And he left the mic on. And eventually the girlfriend came in and turned it off. But, you know, you could hear the shit going on in the background. And I'm sitting there yelling, "Officer, he's hiding in the bedroom. He's hiding in here, officer. He's in the closet." Nintendo Ultra used to have that chat archived, but it's not on his channel anymore. So he either privated it or he deleted it entirely. That's another one that I'd love to get, though. I'd love to get the archive of that Skype chat, because that was the best one. Whatever happened to I Am the Anti-Martyr? Yeah, I remember him. He was a really cool, mellow dude. He was big into music. He did like music production at his house. That was during the era where, you know, it was always like me and Black Bond and Anti-Martyr and Dream 308 in the Skype chats. I don't know what happened to him. I know he had like some serious health problems. And I want to say at one point, he said that one of the things that was wrong with him was a terminal disease. I can't remember which one it was. Some kind of cancer, maybe? He might not be with us anymore. I'm fairly confident that Laren von Baron isn't around. Pretty sure he's gone. Gone on to his either his great reward or his punishment, one or the other. Because my memory is that he had like a near-death experience and he had cancer of some type. I have a little bit of footage of Laren von Baron, which I was going to cover that through the whole Gamers Union debacle. Laren von Baron. I remember I called him Lamer von Gamer. I've got footage of Truth Now 37. You know, I've got mostly all the Trey guys except for Real GTA 4. I've got Hellhound 30X. I've got Acid Snake 87, if you guys remember Acid Snake. But I don't have Nova Phoenix. I'm like really starved for Xbox guy footage. I don't have a whole lot. I've got tons of MLD. But I don't have a lot of the other guys, which is one of the reasons why I really wanted Noxious to find me that some X and Bot stuff. What's your take on YouTube's death battle? There was a couple of episodes that were funny, but overall I'm not a fan. Laren was always threatening to sue for saying his name. Yeah. He didn't understand the concept of fair use at all. Do I have the Black Baron? I have 2 or 3 Black Baron videos. I do not have the videos that he did of me. Specifically, I don't have the video where Black Baron accused me of being a member of the KKK just because I lived in North Carolina. I don't have that video. I have my response to him. I have my funeral video I did of him. I have that one. The Reverend 7th video. I have that. But I don't have the video I was responding to, unfortunately. 7th, do you still talk to Acid Snake? He's still on my PSN list, but I haven't actually talked to him in years. Laren Von Baron had a channel called Gamers Getting Played. I think he's still alive. I'll go look for it. Let me put that on my notepad here. Gamers Getting Played. I'll tell you someone else I have that you guys might not remember. I'm having a hard time typing because I'm having to type around my microphone. I'll tell you another one that I've got stuff from. John Castro, a.k.a. Original Dogman. I've got some of his videos. Not that they're great because all of his videos were him filming his laptop screen. But I do have them. I do have some. That guy gave away a PS3. A lot of people gave away PS3s. The one I remember the most, though, is Truth Now 37, because when I was going through that whole layoff situation where I sold a bunch of stuff to buy 8th Christmas presents, he gave 8th his first PS3. Yeah, Truth Now 37 did that. But no, I haven't talked to Acid Snake in a long time. Laren's got to be in his 70s now. Yeah, if he's still alive. Lol, what? WTF? He said, yeah, he accused me of being a KKK member just because I lived in North Carolina and I said I didn't like it when I lived in Atlanta. And you see, we had the same back and forth behind the scenes conversations I'd had with anyone that I ever battled. And we had agreed on certain stipulations that, we're not going to go here, we're not going to go there. And then things weren't going his way. I was coming out looking better than him. And so then he plays the race card on me. And that's when I decided, all right, you asked for it. And I made the funeral video. And right after that, he disappeared for a long time. And then when he came back, he wasn't talking about games anymore. He was talking about sports, like college football and stuff. I know he's made some new gaming videos recently, but it's like when I posted that funeral vid, he never responded to it, and he just dropped the whole thing. Baron made a video 4 months ago about Gran Turismo on the Gamers Getting Played channel. Okay, I'll go look him up. I could have swore he said he had cancer. And he looked like he was already in his 50s when he was making videos. So I'm not being mean or anything, but I assumed he was gone already. No offense to him. If this gets back to you, Laren, no offense. I was just going by the numbers, brother. I've got some of his old videos. Like I've got the video of him complaining about how he's now on his 9th Xbox. I have that video. I remember Jazzgate 99, but I don't remember if he did videos. I know he made a few videos about a guy that used to troll the PlayStation channel. I'll look that name up. Jazzgate 99. I wish I could find Nova Phoenix, but I'm pretty sure he deleted all of his stuff. I can't even remember how he spelled it. I'll tell you another one I barely have any of because a lot of it's gone is Blackie Lebowski, a.k.a. Ash Villain. I don't have a whole lot of him. I have a few tiny clips. Like I have the view of him holding up his shotgun and whatnot, and that's about it. I don't have any full videos of him. Another one I don't have from the whole Trey versus NW Nation. I don't have Mika Link. You guys remember Mika Link? He was a NW Nation member that looked like he filmed all of his videos in the bathroom of an old Super 8 hotel room. It was him shooting himself in front of what looked like a hotel bathroom mirror. Or like the mirror in the bathroom of a gas station or something. It was really dingy looking. But yeah, his name was Mika Link. I don't have any of him either. He's been snapped off of YouTube. Jim Horrors. I'm not familiar with Jim Horrors. I'm sure Kona Squid here could remember a lot of the old school guys. He could, in fact, Kona Squid here provided me with some videos. He provided me with some old videos that I needed. There was a guy called SWO Sunset something. I think it was a band, a rock band or something. Well, that's SWO Gotta Go. You're being funny. No, I'm looking... It took my brain, and I'm getting tired. It took my brain that long to connect the dots there. Oh, you were a fan of them. I thought you were trying to plug your own band there, dude. Thought you were trying to pull one over on me. I remember there was these two scrawny white kids that made like, they made Trey Brotherhood songs, and one of them was a rap song that had like, you know, the FAG word all through the song. So there's no way that I could use it. And they also did a video where they dragged an Xbox 360 behind a pickup truck. Thanks for the stream, 7th. Have a good one. Yeah, that's right. It's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock. We got to close up shop for the night, fellas. I appreciate everybody that donated. Noxious BLD, thanks for coming by, man. I hope you can find some of that footage. And if not, maybe, I've already got several people that have agreed to do an interview. Maybe we could do an interview over Discord or something, if you're up for that. But again, follow me on Twitter and message me, man. Send me a private message. All right, we're going to have to hit the hay. And remember, the next episode of Trey for Life will be this coming Monday evening. And otherwise, I'll see you guys back here. Same 7th time, same 7th channel.